Jake Hundley. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So you did a crazy geotagging study on how geotagging photos for a Google Business Profile doesn't really make much of a difference,
Correct.
and you busted a myth, and you went deep with this study. And so we were talking over email, and you've done so many cool things in SEO.
Yeah, I mean it's subjective. I think some SEOs might not think it's that cool because like a lot of the stuff that I set out to do is just like it's just disprove. Some of it's just disproving basic things. Um, and I think I mentioned too like how SEO has just come totally full circle of just it's no longer like algorithms anymore. It's just basic marketing, and like we can get into that later. But yeah, the SEO, the EXIF data study. I don't want to take all the credit for it because Eva on my team did a lot of the actual analysis. Like she did the actual things every week. Plotted the coordinates on Local Falcon and did all that, and then we put it together. And I wrote the conclusions and came to everything, and I upset a lot of people with that.
Did you?
Yeah, I heard secondhand. There's a pretty large Facebook group, and the Facebook SEO group. And I know I upset a lot of people who want to put checkboxes on SEO items. And I basically
Mm.
took that checkbox off of their productized service.
That's a thing that a lot of agencies want to do. They want to charge for things that don't actually move the needle.
Yeah, there's I call my partner and I talk about this a lot on our podcast with SEO agencies, which is like especially in local services, every industry is a little bit different in terms of what actually does move the needle. Like some things more so than others. We're in local services, so our agency specializes in landscaping and lawn care, and we have basically said multiple times that 80% of the impact can be done with 20% of the work because it's really as simple as good page titles, good H1s, good page structure, that stuff. And then the remaining 20% to get you to that 100% requires 80% of the labor. And so there's like a disproportionate amount of labor and a huge diminishing returns the more labor you put into that. And when you're working with local services and you're working with these like local businesses that tend to have smaller budgets too, it's not cost effective for them to pay for SEO services that extend past the 80%. And so the challenge that our agency always gets is like, oh, well, you're not like hyper focused on structured data, or you're not geotagging photos or doing all these things. And it's like none of that even like really moves the needle, which is the an interesting point too, because we had David Hunter from Local Falcon on our podcast, and I told him that like I think my next study that I want to do is on schema markup. It doesn't even impact
Sick.
anything.
Sick. Dude, I've pissed off so many people saying don't waste your time on schema, and agencies scam small businesses, or just a lot of businesses charging for schema markup that is completely unnecessary.
If you
I've pissed off so many
if you
people
clip that
making episodes about
if
that.
you clip that and put it on TikTok and put it on Facebook, you'll get so much engagement, and all that engagement will be super negative, I bet.
I should do that because negative drive. Well, speaking of things that drive the needle, negative drives the needle.
Oh,
Negative comments.
100%. I just posted on Reddit not too long ago, like a week ago. I said client acquisition for agencies is the easiest problem you'll ever have to solve. Because after that, your problems get 10 times harder as you start to scale your agency. And nobody liked that. Nobody liked that because like everybody is struggling to get clients. And I'm like, it's not saying it's a hard thing to do. I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do. I'm just saying it's one of the easiest problems within the agency that you're going to have to deal with. Because if you can't find your own positioning or like how you're actually selling your services, you're going to have a really hard time running a business. And so, but yeah, I do think like my joy in SEO is more so just busting the myths.
This method of marketing is so effective, I had to make sure it wasn't against Google's rules before I kept doing it. It's a form of SEO I call compact keywords. Whereas most SEO focuses on putting up articles to answer questions how, what, when, compact keywords focuses on putting up dozens of pages that sell to searchers who are actually looking to buy. These pages rank on Google and convert so much better than normal that when I discovered this years ago, I couldn't believe this was allowed. It's less work too. The average compact keywords page is only 415 words. Compact Keywords is a 13-hour deep course on getting sales with SEO. A customer recently said, "Each lesson is dense with information. You're giving years worth of experience boiled down into 15 to 30-minute lessons with no filler or fluff. I feel like I'm gaining a new superpower." Compact Keywords is about setting up an SEO funnel that brings you sales for years and years and years. It works with AI, it's less work than traditional SEO, and it makes way more money. You can get it now at compactkeywords.com. Back to the podcast. So you said, actually, I want to talk to you about doorway pages because you sent me something interesting over email, and you said that you specifically avoid doorway pages, and it's something that I see a lot from people who are starting in SEO or even more experienced people who are trying to just put out a lot of bottom of funnel SEO landing pages. It could be local, it could be for SaaS, it could be for just a generalized service business. And you just see these all the time. People will accidentally make many doorway pages. So you told me that you specifically avoid them. So can you talk about what they are, why they're bad, and then how you avoid them?
Yeah. So, in short, doorway pages are pages that exist to that only exist to influence the algorithm and not to actually help users. So that's Google's definition. But an example of a doorway page would be like plumbing in Highland Park, Illinois, plumbing in whatever tons of cities, and then you just replace plumbing with the other service, and then like replace those with a ton of other services as well, and you just duplicate that across a ton of pages because you're trying to rank for the service keyword plus the actual location, and you don't actually have physical locations in there, nor do you have like reviews or references or actual things that are relevant to that. You're just trying to capitalize on that. So Google defines that as a doorway page.
And nothing else about the page has changed. You're just swapping out the locations, and like you could even be using a lot of the same images and copy. And
Yeah, and that's the traditional doorway page. I think with AI, like people came out and were like, okay, well, I'll just rewrite all of this to make it custom. And I still think custom content is a doorway page if you're not having like unique things about that specific location. You can't just replace things with synonyms and restructure the content.
Content spinning isn't a good solution.
And I posted an article about this in Search Engine Land in 2022 in December when Google came out with their helpful content and spam updates around August and October of then. And our agency has long had the stance of like, we don't create location pages, we don't create doorway pages if you don't have a physical location in that area. And our agency from the SEO community and myself took a lot of flack for that. I'm like, look, it works. I know it does, creating those pages, but that's not a white hat thing to do, arguably. And our agency just doesn't do it. If you want to do that, great. But I was like, we don't do this. But then Google came out with that spam update. And this was like, we were talking like a couple weeks before ChatGPT got released to the public, when that first iteration of it. And what happened was the SEO community just started blowing up in the SEO Facebook groups, and pages started getting de-indexed like crazy. I think it was like there was somebody in the group that had like hundreds of pages from their clients getting de-indexed, and when they looked at it in Search Console, it was literally all of these location pages that were just straight up being de-indexed. And he mentioned that like if you changed the content around and then submitted it for re-indexing, it would get indexed. In my article, I said that it's only a matter of time before Google figures it out. They're just spinning the content, and that I think that the de-indexing was a precursor to manual actions, and that like you can keep doing this because de-indexing doesn't hurt your site in the long term. It just takes that page out of the index. But the minute you get a manual action, like that's an issue. But the problem that Google can't understand right now is like algorithmically or even with AI, what is a doorway page in like in just kind of a general sense without like hurting legitimate sites. So I basically came to the conclusion that hey, our websites, we still don't do it. None of our sites were affected, absolutely zero of them. And we create like location pages for clients who have locations in those actual cities if they're multi-location service area businesses. Um, but the what we do instead is we create project pages. So this is like an industry secret that I don't tell a ton of people, but like all of your listeners will hear now. But
Bring the sauce.
yeah,
Bring the sauce.
so project pages are really helpful for businesses like service businesses that can do projects. They're harder for like lawn care businesses, but like landscaping, it's super easy because it's like you just have your client, whenever they do a project, take before pictures, take after pictures, tell us what the project is, tell us where it was located, tell us roughly how much it was, like what were some of the challenges you ran into, what are the materials you used, and then give us all that information. We'll craft a page. If the client built a retaining wall in like Mount Prospect, Illinois, then we create a page called Retaining Wall Construction in Mount Prospect, Illinois. And then we talk about that project. And instead of just being a generic portfolio page that people just slap images on and then like hope users get value out of that, this is not only helping the search algorithm for those specific keywords by avoiding doorway pages, but it's also providing a really good user experience for showing like everything involved in this project.
Are you putting a call to action above the fold? Because it sounds like you're targeting a hyper specific use case. You're calling it a project, and within a location. These are very searchable things. People are searching. They want whatever it was that you just named in this location. That page is going to come up. Ideally, I would assume that you would have a call to action above the fold, maybe below the first two sentences that are below the H1.
Yep.
And yeah,
Yep. So we have a small button on the page. It's actually in the hero, and it's like retaining wall contract or retaining wall construction and Mount Prospect, and then it says like call now to get your quote or something like that. But we don't go too overboard on it. We tested the whole like form above the fold theory and like the form on the side of every single page theory, and we found no statistically significant variance between a button versus.
I actually think the button
form.
works. I think the button works best.
Yeah, I mean, I would,
from what I've seen,
because there was no statistically significant variance between the button versus just the form. I was like, the button is better because it's just less things to load on the page.
Yeah, it's easier. And you can send people. I mean, you can reuse a form across pages and change it from one place. But yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of that structure, of that page structure, and targeting hyper specific use cases, like you said. Also, using real photos. Oh my gosh, I make so much content about this. I was thinking about, and I didn't do this because AI photos can be very convincing, but I was gonna like give like tiers for like top tier, mid tier, lowest tier for like photos to use in SEO. And like number one would be real, number two would be stock, and then all the way at the bottom would be AI.
Yep. The lawn care industry is really hard to find stock photos, and it's also really hard to find business owners that actually like invest in photography or even take their own photos. So sometimes we get like lawn care clients that they only do lawn care, they don't do landscaping or any project based stuff. And when we have a page about like brown patch lawn disease or something like that, there are like no photos, like stock photos for like certain lawn diseases that we can use at all. Fortunately, AI comes in clutch because it's like it's a lawn disease. It's not like you can get hyper realistic lawn disease photos and you would never be able to tell the difference. And so like that's the only time we use AI photos, but it's like whenever there's a person involved, it's you can just tell.
Yeah. Yeah. And in a case like that, SEO is extremely nuanced. And actually, that's one of the things that you said was like avoid the checkboxes. And it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
if you have to use it, use it, and in a lot of cases it can be just fine. What are you generating those photos with?
What was I generating with? I think back then, this has been a while for me, but back then I was just doing Dolly. So now,
Oh wow.
so now I can just plug them into ChatGPT or Gemini. The AI tool of choice has been Gemini for us lately because it's included in our our Google Workspace subscription.
Gemini is excellent. I still use Midjourney a lot. I still like Midjourney. Still has a lot of issues with text, but in terms of creating realistic looking images, it's very good.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say good things at Midjourney. I just haven't needed to use like AI images a lot lately. Like the biggest help with AI assistant has just been like coding. Not necessarily vibe coding, but like vibe learning, as my partner puts it, because he's like I mean, we're not coding anything. We're just like, I need a script for this, and then tell me where to put it and what the script does.
Are you making linkable assets at all for your clients?
Um, no, not currently. So we have a very unique business model. I don't think it's that unique, but I think a lot of SEOs do. And our business model is like low cost SEO PPC bundled together. So our foundation package that we call it is basic on-site Google Search Console GVP SEO mixed with uh, Google Ads management for these local landscapers. And our management price is $650 a month. It's pretty low, but it's all in house. We don't do anything overseas. It's all in house. And it's a productized service. So because we're niche, we can scale that and have duplicable, scalable results to all of our clients. And so like our model also comes under attack a lot because it's you're not actually you can't provide value in $650, and it's like, well, at an internal billable rate of $150 an hour, we can provide 4 hours of work per client. And like I said earlier, 80% of the SEO work can be done with 20% of the labor. So you absolutely can. Now, if they want us to start blogging, or if they want us to start doing like the other 20%, not saying blogging is part of that 20%, but if they want to start doing like the other stuff that requires more labor, yeah, now we're pushing $2,000. But because we can make the most amount of impactful work with minimal effort, we can do that. So as far as like linkable assets, probably not until they're into like the blogging stage.
You know, I can tell talking to you, I can tell that you know what you're talking about. That you get results is what I'm saying. But
Do you ever
I
talk to people who you're like, this guy doesn't get results?
absolutely. I mean, or actually, it's more often that I talk to people and I'm like, this is really dangerous, and their clients could see harm in the future.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to challenge them on that on the show. That's more often what it is. I think most SEOs who come on the show, they get results, but a lot of it could be short-term results. A lot of it could be dangerous. Then there's a handful of people who I'm just like, uh,
Yeah, it's like heavy PBNs, and they're not even doing like PBNs discreetly, you know? Like they're just like outright like, "Oh yeah, we buy links." And it's like, "Okay, well, we all know what that means." And then like or it's like, "Oh yeah, we just do click-through rate manipulation on GBPs." And it's like, "Well, don't say that." Like
it's like, well, the thing is, a lot of this stuff works until your entire Google Search Console gets hit.
yeah.
And it's like, if you're a black hat pro, you know how to isolate like you different websites, and you're doing everything you learn the hard way. But most people are not black hat pros. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I think Black Hat Pros fall into a certain category that I can't say like a lot of nice things about. They're very technical, which is cool. I'll give them that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's like,
absolutely. But I also believe, though, the biggest outcomes, I was saying this to somebody on LinkedIn right before we started recording, the biggest outcomes are not from churn and burn plays. They are not. They are from investing in long-term assets.
yeah, and doing like actual marketing and not just relying everything on SEO.
Yeah, that too. I had on like the biggest mattress affiliate, the like mattress review affiliate, which is a very competitive space. I had him on 2 or 3 days
I think I
ago.
know this guy. I
Ranks,
think I know this guy. Not know
yeah,
him, but know of him.
Derek Hales from NapLab, and he started actually a lot of like big sleep affiliate websites, or like home affiliate websites, and this one though was huge. He's getting, I think it's like 300,000 clicks a month from Google. It was just at 400,000. Now it's like going up and down because of the update. And he ranks number one for things like firm mattress or like best, like all these like best mattress for so and so keywords. I mean, he's crushing. Probably, he might be the top mattress affiliate. But so he's been doing this for 4 years, didn't take shortcuts, puts a tremendous amount of work into his review articles, invests in lots of other forms of marketing, and he's just built a long-term asset.
That there's two things with that. Like one is like Google is always chasing what people want when they search for things. And that's why they have these algorithm updates. They're chasing what people want. And if you're always chasing Google's algorithm updates, you're always a step behind. But if you also chase what people want, and so like you just have thinner content on the website but easier calls to action so people can actually take action and find the things they want, you've been way ahead of the game a long time ago. And so like that's all you have to focus on is what do people want. Stop chasing the algorithms. Um, the second thing, and I do this all the time, where I'm like, oh great, I have like two or three things I'm going to say about this, and then I totally forget. But the other thing is like if you type in lawn care marketing company right now, and I guarantee like all of your listeners will do this, we're number one. Evergrow Marketing is number one. Landscaping marketing company, I think lawn care marketing agency, like just all the variations of it. We're either like one or two on those searches. And I know it sounds really niche, but there's actually a pretty healthy number of competitors in that space. And if you look at our backlink profile compared to those competitors, you'll see that we have a tenth, maybe 100th of the links that they have. And because like, yeah, links are great, but it's also quality of the links, it's quality of the content that we're publishing. And if you look at the content that we publish on our website, there isn't a lot. There's like every now and then we come out with like a 4,000 word banger. And then like, but it's a deep dive. My geotagged EXIF data, the full actual study with abstract was on our website. And
Did that get a lot of links?
I don't know. I didn't look. I saw our traffic go up, and I was like, "That's what I care about."
But I mean, it was linked to from search engine land. It probably did get it probably got a healthy amount of
yeah,
high quality
I
links.
usually like whenever I go to publish something like in search engine land or search engine watch is the other one I was in. Whenever I go to get publications in those, I'm like, "Oh, cool, one link." Like that's all I think about. I don't think about like the extra links that might come with it. Because for me, it's more of like the EEAT, which is just like, it's just like expertise, authority, and like blanking.
Trust.
Yeah, trust. That's the other one. Experience.
Experience.
Yeah. And it just shows you how much I just don't really care about this stuff. But it's like as long as I can just keep like being like providing the value and like the actual work, which I think is probably the hardest part that people want to contribute to. Then you don't have to chase the algorithms. You don't have to do any of that.
Dude, I literally wrote, like, it's so funny because I read this in your email to me when I was preparing for this episode, and I had written, so you wrote to me, Google is mimicking consumer demand and recommendations. I wrote yesterday, I was at the gym and I had this thought, and I just put this up onto X and LinkedIn and Threads and Facebook, and I wrote ground truth. Search engines try to mimic what searchers want. Approach everything from that perspective.
You use mimic too. That's funny.
When
I was writing mimic, I was like, I don't know how to spell mimicking. And then I was like, is there a K in there or not?
Mimic, but that's what it is. And you're so right that everyone's just trying to chase the algorithm, and the crazy long-term businesses that get compounding success are sure, they're doing they're doing the SEO fundamentals, which are like you put the keyword in the right places, but searchers want that too. If you are searching for something and you see your keyword at the top of the page in the page title, you're going to click, you're going to feel satisfied. Like
I saw something on LinkedIn the other day and it was like it's like maybe it was on Facebook, but it was like keywords like keyword SEO is dead. Like
Oh my God. I saw that. I think I saw that too. And
like
it pissed me
it
off.
died 6 months ago, and like another guy who like has a really big SEO group, he's like 6 months ago, try 6 years ago, and I'm like, dude, what are we talking about? Like like it's, and I think they were trying to say it was like it was all, I can't remember what it was, like it was like entity based, or it was like
Yeah, that's what it was. I
and
saw the same thing. They said entity
I,
based. Yeah.
I take one keyword out of your H1 and change it with something else, and then tell me what happens to Search Console. Just one. That's it. And like it totally changes it, and it's the exact same reason why like on our client websites, on the homepage we generally have like landscaping company, and then on the general services page we have landscaping services. like yeah, they're like really closely related, and I think like any entity based SEO person is going to be like, it's the same thing, but it's not, I promise you. Like if you look in Search Console, those are two very different keywords, and two very different pages are ranking number one for that.
I feel like I feel like 95%, and this is something that I don't do, and it sounds like you don't do this either. I feel like 95% of SEO influencers, or like people who talk about SEO publicly, they're just trying to like be seen for reinventing SEO. And I'm out here saying like, do the fundamentals and do them well.
Yeah, it's the new acronyms that are bothering me, like Geo and AIO, and like I I can understand like a certain aspect of it, like of like the new concepts, but trying to create something like totally new, like a totally separate package to sell to clients, I think is a little ridiculous. Because, and I've said this on Reddit multiple times, in our subreddit, which that Geo, and I know David Quaid thinks the same thing too. I actually just talked to him for
Yeah,
30 minutes yesterday.
really?
Yeah, we just
Was he on your show?
no, not yet, but we're looking at
Okay.
scheduling something. The problem
He's great.
is our, because we're an SEO PPC agency, but like our show is just agencies in general. So like the problem is like we have so many freaking SEOs on our show that I'm like, we need to find like a social media person or like an email person and like get them on the podcast, because it's like just SEO all the time. But I was explaining that like this like geo concept is like 95% SEO. And the other 5% is just things that like Google and Bing don't care about anymore, because like they went through that whole song and dance. Um, but I'll give you,
What are the things that Google and Bing doesn't care about
so
anymore?
I'll give you an example. It is, and maybe like not caring about isn't the right word, but like not like specifically looking out for. So like one thing that I've noticed that AI engines will do is like they will reference case studies. Like they'll be like if you say best marketing company in Tampa or something like that, it'll have like one of the query fan outs that it'll do is like looking for like marketing agencies with solid case studies. If you don't have case studies on your website, like you're not going to be part of that query fan out. And so like we don't publish case studies on our website because I think case studies are kind of dumb. Um, and I can get to that in a second. I've got a whole methodology or reasoning, but and then but that's like it. Like I keep hearing right now query fan outs and all this stuff, and I'm like, so topic clustering, like topical authority, like that. I mean, it's just a different word for the same thing.
You know, I'm gonna tell you a secret. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it. I've been going super viral lately in the last week on Instagram and TikTok and uh, everywhere, basically making videos saying like, here's how to find a query fan out within ChatGPT, and here's a trick: you take these keywords and you put them in your H2, or you create a new page for the query fan out. And the thing is, like, this like completely oversimplified thing isn't even like the best way of doing SEO. It's just what people will understand. It will work, it will get results, but it's not like the best way of doing it. And
Yeah.
it's just,
No,
yeah.
I get you. You got to play the game. I mean, especially if you're a content creator,
But I
you've
will
got
not.
to.
I'm not going to brand myself as a geo person. I will not do that.
Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah,
All right, I'll tell you, like,
because I mean, I literally make episodes about how. I'll go into it in a minute, but I want to hear what you have to say.
so the case study thing. Like, this is what I was gonna. This is what I was,
Yes, yes, please.
so whenever a company posts a case study on their website, it's always like good. Like it's just great. Like we transformed this business. It's amazing. Like this is what the results were. Nobody ever does case studies about their failures. And so it's like when a client is looking for like your case studies, it like it's just you glazing yourself and like on like your successes. So what we post on our website, I guess could arguably be case studies, but it's not. They're aggregate data. So we aggregate all of our client data across like an entire year. So January is coming up, which I'm dreading doing right now because it's always a long post. Um, but we aggregate that and like we just say like these are the reasonable expectations. And what I like about that is that when a client says, "Hey, how much can I get per lead on Google?" I can say $85. Like I'm just like that's the expectation because that's the aggregate data. And I can't point to certain case studies and be like, "Oh, we got this client landscaping leads for $30, $30 each on Google, and they closed at 50% and they were all happy." It's like, well, that sets a really bad expectation if I just do these case studies that are super super well or super good. That's why I don't like case studies. And every time I see them on like a business website, I'm like, they just don't speak to me. They don't do anything for me.
Dude, I have a similar, I think I have a similar gripe with case studies. I used to try to find them for content for the show. This is like I've done this actually is 900 days in a row doing this podcast. This is episode 900.
Jeez.
And I constantly need content for this show. And so I used to look for case studies. And my problem was like all of these are thin. They're not actually saying how they got the results. It looks like it could be coming from like a bunch of different places, but they're just not going into detail. I want a case study about we saw this opportunity by using these tools. And we picked this opportunity out from these other opportunities. Here's why these other opportunities were bad. Then we executed on this opportunity like this. Here's how long it took to see these results, and then here's what these results were. That's what I would like in a case study. Nobody does that.
Okay, I
It's
mean it
like,
takes work, and it's also not like usually the best case studies prove hypothesis is wrong. Like those are the best ones. If you start a case study with a
yeah,
hypothesis and
hmm
like you come to the antithesis at the end, like those are amazing case studies. But if
yeah,
you
it's
if you
true.
start it with like I think this is gonna happen, and then you do it and it does happen, you're like, wow, who would have thought? You know?
Those are the
Yeah,
best.
because
Wait,
you
you
because
told
you
me
published it, right? You start with your hypothesis, and then you published it, and you came to the conclusion, and it's like, well, if you had not come to the conclusion, would you have published it?
if you had not come to the conclusion, would you have
Yeah, if you had not come to the conclusion of
would,
which you
would it
wanted,
would it have been interested? Would it have been interest?
it
Would it have been
it
interesting?
depends. Like, is it for like a client like case study? Like, are you doing this? Are you publishing on like who's the audience? Are you publishing this on your website for your clients? Because like I would hope the hypothesis for every one of your clients or client case studies that you publish on your website would be positive. Like you would want to come to the conclusion before you even started looking into it. But like if you're doing a case study that's like not related to clients, like I did with the EXIF data, like it's not related to clients at all. I don't need whether result I come to or not. Like either EXIF data does work and we start implementing it in our services, and I was wrong, or I was right, and the world needs to know because it's annoying seeing it on TikTok.
You see it a lot on TikTok,
Dude, it's everywhere. TikTok, Facebook,
man.
Instagram. I think Facebook's the worst. Reddit. David's pretty good on r/SEO by shutting those down.
Yeah. You told me let's talk about a case study from you. You told me CTV campaign for robotic mowers boosted robotic mowers query for local lawn care company.
Yes. So we didn't actually do okay. This is a good case study. You got me. This is one that I would actually publish on our website if I actually look into the data, but right now I just have like anecdotal evidence. We can go back and look at this, but this was this March. It was like January through April-ish, I think. So, we have a client in Iowa who does they only do lawn care applications like fertilization, weed control, aeration, things like that. They don't do mowing at all. However, they do sell robotic mowers and they do install them at their clients. And it's a loss leader for them in order to then upsell the fertilization, weed control applications. Uh, they wanted to invest heavily in CTV, in OTT. So we ran a YouTube TV campaign. We're gonna do Disney and Hulu, but then YouTube had the better networks. So we ran a YouTube TV campaign, not to be confused with just actual YouTube. And they had a commercial cut for the robotic mowers from like a local radio station, and they maybe it's TV, I don't know, but they sent us the ad, and then we ran that ad on YouTube TV for robotic mowers. And you might think like what we did at first was we're like, okay, well, how are we going to measure this, like the success of this? Because usually TV campaigns, there aren't like conversion metrics that you measure. So we decided to measure brand lift in Search Console, which is like, okay, well, is their brand going to increase? And we saw like almost no brand increase at all. Now, just like randomly, and I was like, what if we just like search robotic mowers? Like, what if we just like look up the query for that? And we saw like this sharp spike that was like never there before after the TV ads ran. And what it was is like the service, the robotic mower thing, it wasn't like well known in the area at all. And uh, it involved education. So whenever you have a service that involves educating somebody and like no one's like actually looking for it, that is usually expensive to market. So we had a Google ad or a search campaign for robotic mowers targeting like lawn mowers and robotic mowers as well. And as soon as that ad hit, like the search demand, not for the client, but for the actual thing that interested them, like skyrocketed. And like I'll maybe you're talking me into it. I'll do a case study on it. And like I'll actually get the results. But like that was amazing. So like right now we're hitting end of year and I'm talking to the client right now. I'm like, we should definitely do that again. And then the other thing was with permanent holiday lights. So they also do this, like a lot of things like lawn care companies will do in the winter when there's snow on the ground, is they'll do holiday lighting for houses and trees and things like that. But lately, products have been hitting the market for like permanent holiday lighting. So you just install them on underneath your gutters, and they're permanent. You don't have to take them down. You control them with a controller. You can change the colors. 4th of July, they can be red, white, and blue. Um, and that way you never have to like pay to like have to like constantly do them every year. We did the same thing with because like nobody was searching for permanent holiday lighting or permanent lighting in general. And then as soon as we ran the CTV campaign, the searches in Iowa just took off, and it was just like that's how you do it with a service that you don't know, that the market doesn't know about.
Well, what do the ads on YouTube look like on YouTube TV?
They were really simple. Like they was just kind of like it was a voiceover with some B-roll footage of the actual product. So they got some footage like B-roll from the manufacturer, and then they had like their logo on it with like a banner of like visit our website and then or like call us today or something like that. And it was very simple, like 30 seconds. It wasn't, I mean, it was all B-roll.
This was a company that sold robotic mowers.
They are a lawn care company that has a distributorship through the manufacturer. So they will purchase robotic mowers, but they're a lawn care company, and then their customers will ask like, "Hey, do you do mowing?" And they say, "No, we don't do mowing, but we do install robotic mowers." And they put them on like a,
Wow.
a lease or like a payment plan to install that, and then they
Smart.
use that to then get their foot in the door for like the weed control applications and the fertilization applications. So yeah.
That's cool. And so this campaign, and they have, I guess, an SEO landing page for this.
Yeah, well, it's just a service page, so you can call it an SEO landing page, but it's just one of their like core service pages for robotic mowing.
I would call it an SEO landing page if it was targeting a specific query.
Yeah, I mean every page besides the about and contact us page would, right? Yeah.
So what query would it be targeting?
Robotic. I can just tell you right now. I think if I had to guess, robotic mowing in Target City. Let's see,
Uh-huh.
robotic mowers. Um, robotic lawn mowing services serving central, eastern, and northern Iowa.
So people were watching this and then they were Googling something like that and then they were coming across this page.
Well, also, it wasn't like just necessarily SEO because we ran a PPC campaign at the same time. So it's
Right,
like, well,
right.
if they're not searching the brand name, we want to make sure we're number one, or we want to make sure we're showing up at the top. And
Yeah,
so like that PPC mixed with the CTV combined for a service that no one really knows about, I think like that's kind of like the 1-2 punch.
that's cool.
So yeah, and then
That's you got to do the case study
yeah,
on
I
it.
know. Well, and now with permanent holiday lighting, we don't even run CTV for that now because like the volume is just constant now. Like we like, as far as I know, and I don't know, like this is also the other thing with case studies too, because I don't know if it was coincidental or if it was because of us, where there was no search volume in 2024 for permanent holiday lighting, and then in 2025, year over year, every single month, it's like exponentially higher every single month. So it's like, did our CTV campaign like actually educate the entirety of the state of Iowa, or was there something in the market that just that was like ran kind of tangential to us that also coincidentally increased everybody's knowledge about the product?
Did you look at Google Trends?
No. See, I gotta do the case study, right? Like this, I
Yeah.
Govee, the light manufacturer and the home automation company, they are heavily producing like permanent holiday lighting that's like consumer grade quality, which is like low, and I could see them like hitting like Amazon ads really hard for like Christmas type stuff. So it could have been something that was like in tandem with like Govee's product. And in fact, Govee holiday lighting is actually a search term that shows up in our search terms report for the permanent holiday lighting campaigns.
That's funny.
Yep.
I want to go back to your 80/20 rule because I actually I have an article on my site called Pareto SEO and how 20% of SEO gets 80% of the results.
That's
It's like it's
hilarious.
literally one of my cornerstone articles. Like I have it right there in the header. I put it up, I don't know, maybe it was like at the beginning of last year of 2024, and it's just been like I send it to everyone. Like I have a lot of followers on social media. They're like, "Where can I get started with SEO?" I'm like, "Pareto SEO, here you go." And but I want to ask you, what are your so like you gave a few of them, but you didn't talk about links and or like page structure or information architecture. What are your 20% of SEO things that get 80% of the results, and then 80% that people waste time on?
Okay, cool. I'll explain it in the home service, like local service business industry first, and then
Great.
I'll give some context for like other industries because I do think it's heavily weighted differently. Um, so H1s, making sure like if you're in a service based business, making sure like your location and like your target location and the service that you offer is in the H1. Same thing with the page title. I mean, they shouldn't be identical, but they should be really close. Page structure is important after that, so it's going to be, and I'll catch flack for this, but one H1 and then multiple H2s breaking out the core topic of that H1. Ideally, those H2s will have content around or under them or near them that will link to a page that has an H1 similar to that H2. So, like an H2 should be like inviting you to more information. And then you go to that, and then it goes to the next page that has, okay, yep, this is the page with the more information on the H2. And then that breaks down even further. Uh, for like a homepage, for example, on like a lawn care business, you'd have like lawn care company serving Delaware, whatever. I don't know the cities in Delaware. But then underneath that, you'd have like our services, and it would list like all the services, and like maybe our services is the H2, and then each individual services are H3s. And then if you click on our services or content around it, you should go to a general services page. And that general services page should have all the individual services, which are now H2s and not H3s. You click on one of those services, and now you go to the page of that service that is now an H1. And then, like, it's just like very simple and structured. And like, I get people all the time are just like, you can have multiple H1s. It doesn't impact SEO that much. It's like, I don't care if it does or doesn't. Like, this is just good housekeeping. This is just something you should just do. Like, there's no reason to not.
I do something similar with the hub pages. I do the H1 for the hub page, could be like services or uses, whatever. Then I'll do H2s for, because maybe it's like a lot of services, so then I'll have them broken up into categories, and I'll do an H2 for the category name, and then paragraphs for those, and those hyperlink to the specific pages.
Yeah, and that's totally fine too. Like, however you want to, whatever makes sense in structuring of it. Like, it's totally, there's no like hard and fast rule, but like it has to make sense. And then with like on like a service page, for example, then you would have your content, and in that content, I might anchor link to blog content that might expand on certain things to kind of create that more topical authority. If that blog content is there, right? If it's not much you can do until you actually write it. So page structure, H1s, page titles. I think like image alt text and like just basic image stuff, like image title, file names. I don't think they're like that important, but they don't fall under the 20%. They don't fall under like the 20% with 80% effort. Like, they're really easy to do. Just do it. Plus, you can show up in Google image results, so why not? And then what else is there? I mean, I think like, oh, and then like with local service business, obviously the Google Business Profile SEO, making sure you've got your good primary category in there, you've got your services listed, your target areas, even though like there's debate on whether like the actual defining your areas even really make a difference. Just like good housekeeping there. And like, I think that's the 20%. Like for local services.
How about links?
So links,
How about links?
I don't weight links in local services as much as the other stuff I mentioned. So like, they could be like, for me, they could be in like the last 40 to 30%. But the biggest thing that I've noticed in like local search market is that like competitors of our clients, they don't put the like geo-target in their H1s and page titles. Like, they'll be like lawn care services or lawn care company, or like some weird catchy like artistic phrase that's like, we make your home beautiful, but they're like a lawn care company.
Yeah.
It's like that serves
Yeah.
nothing. But their sites are really beautiful and flashy. And or like, even if it's just like lawn care company, it's like, okay, well, all we have to do is put the target city in there, and then like there's like only 3 companies in an area of 50 that actually have the geo target in the H1, and then it feels like it's that easy. Now, there are some markets that are tough for us, like Denver, Colorado, and the Hamptons are like, they're tough and they're competitive. And like, I might suggest I did a different strategy. Maybe you do get more links in those areas, but like 90% of the United States, like, it's pretty easy.
I believe it. How did you get into SEO, and how long have you been doing it for?
I think it was 10 years ago. I met my business partner at an agency we worked at in Iowa. It was an automotive marketing agency, and I ended up becoming an account executive there. So I did like the sales and like client management on the agriculture side of the automotive agency. And Cody, my business partner, was my SEM guy. He was the PPC guy. So then I didn't really have like a good SEO person to go to, so I just kind of had to like learn it a little bit. And then I just kind of stayed up to date. It interested me a little. And then I ended up moving to Kansas City, got like a director of marketing job, which is just a fancy title for inside sales guy, at like a small industrial distributor. And I wanted to help them with their SEO because they were lacking on it, and I just kind of fell into it even further. And I still don't think like it interests me as much as it does people like Barry Schwartz or even you or like David. Like, it really doesn't that much. It's just like, I don't know, I find it's not as like technical as some people try to make it out to be.
Absolutely not as technical as people make it out to be. I am surprised that it doesn't interest you though as much, because you put when I read your EXIF study, I'm like, there's a lot of effort.
It was, and it wasn't fun writing it.
This is a serious
if
study.
you actually read it at the bottom of my actual study on my website, it was like, this wasn't fun doing it. Like, I don't even know why I did this. I did it just to prove like exactly what I always thought. And like, I wasted all this time doing it for almost nothing.
You know, you're actually very different than I thought you would be. I thought you were going to go really deep into the, to be honest, I thought I expected you to go deep into like a lot of these nitty-gritty things that don't matter. And I would sit here and just be like, okay. And like, no, you're like, no, actually, like, no, most agencies are scamming clients by offering things that they don't need. Focus on the page title and the H1 and giving searchers what they're looking for right away, and having a clear content structure. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
and the worst
okay.
part is like people like us and David, because I know David is like super aligned. Is like we'll catch the most hate from other SEOs because it's like, oh, we don't know what we're talking about, or like because like we're not like, we don't need to be as technical as people make it out to be, and it's like, okay, like it feels more of kind of like just defensive reactions, I guess. But like I think people's lives would be like SEO's lives would be a lot easier if they took more of a creative approach to SEO, a business solving problem with SEO. And
Well, you sent me because we were talking about it was I think it was Jay Blanton Plumbing. Had you heard of Jay Blanton Plumbing before I sent you that
no,
podcast?
but I'm in the Chicago area. Like I like he's in Chicago, isn't he? Isn't that where he said he was?
I don't remember. I made this like a month or two ago.
No, I
Maybe
I live in the Chicago market, and I believe that's where his business is, serving neighborhoods in the North Chicago metro.
it is crushing, and like the posts that the guy who bought it puts up on X are so cool. And so you said to me, you said Mike Andis had a similar branding play, franchise owner of Augusta Lawn Care with over 190 locations, big yellow trucks and shirts with a golden retriever mascot, even though he doesn't like dogs or the color yellow. So I want that story, but also I'm curious, like, so this company with 190 locations, are they doing location pages? Like, what's their SEO like?
They're a franchise, so what they're doing. I think their SEO is actually pretty good because
Yeah,
so
franchise
so
owner.
Mike Andes with Augusta Lawn Care, he's got a whole YouTube channel, internet personality as well. Um, their SEO is pretty decent. My one criticism, and I've only got one. It's if you go to like a franchise location. So I went to in my example, I'll go to one I can pronounce. Augusta Lawn Care of Alamo Ranch. So Alamo Ranch, Texas. If I go to a website, um, their URL structure is augustalawcareservices.com/Alamo Ranch. Makes sense, right? So if I go to services, I'll click on that. The URL structure then, or I guess they don't have a general services page. I'll go to lawn care. I'll go to lawn care. AugustaLawnCareServices.com/services/Alamo Ranch dash lawn care or dash lawn dash care. So Alamo Ranch Lawn Care. It would be better, in my opinion, if you did AugustaLawnCareServices.com/Alamo Ranch/services/lawn care and keeping that URL structure and that page path consistent. But they switched it around there. Otherwise, like their page structure, they're geolocating their H1s and all that, and great. So yeah, his every site or every location that he has like a microsite or like a page folder or sorry, a folder in the database, its own URL structure and sub URL structure. Um, and that's great. So then they can optimize each location kind of on their own with their own GBPs and things like that. Their marketing strategy when he started was, I want big yellow trucks, everybody wearing like super like a ton of yellow. Like you're not gonna miss us because every lawn care company in the world is green or brown or whatever, um, or black. And so like you're not gonna miss this yellow. And like I spoke, they do like a franchise conference every year, and I spoke at one of them I think in 2023, and I was talking with one of like their biggest franchisee, and he was like, "Yeah, Mike, he actually wanted to do pink, but he didn't think he could convince all of his lawn care employees to wear pink or drive around in big pink trucks." Um, but that's what he wanted to do because if you're not going to miss yellow, you're definitely not going to miss a pink lawn care company driving around. And then the golden retriever mascot on the website, his name is Max, and I was like, oh, like my wife loves dogs, and so as soon as she sees a dog mascot, she's go, what's his name? So like I was like, his name is Max, and she goes, I want to know what Max's story is. And so she asked this franchisee because she was there, and she's like, what's the story behind Max? Was he like Mike's old dog? And, and he goes, no, I don't even think he likes dogs. Like he's just like, you read a study one time from like, it was like a Harvard study that like people associated dog mascots with like friendlier businesses, and so he slapped it on the truck too. And I'm like,
Do you know who Peter Levels
I
is?
don't.
Peter Levels is this very famous indie hacker, and he did like 12 startups in 12 months. This was before like everyone and their mom were doing startups, and he's like this. He created like Nomad List and does all these like, and he also popularized like being like a digital nomad. Anyway, he uh, so his profile, I don't know if it's still this, it might be, but his profile picture on Twitter or X for the longest time was like him with a dog. And he's like, I read that people associate people who are next to dogs or like with dogs in like a much better manner. So I'm setting my profile picture like me with a dog. And then I did the same thing, and because I'm like,
You know what's okay?
but it's
You know what's
real.
funny? This is a sidetrack, but it's entertaining. When I met my wife on the dating app Hinge, and guys, if you know like dating apps, guys are notoriously like have bad luck with matches, and I did too. And then my business partner was like, "Hey, actually, if your first photo is you with your dog, you'll get more matches. Trust me." And like he's been married and in a long term relationship forever. I was like, okay, sure, I'll try it, and I did it. And then like immediately my matches just exploded. I was like, this is crazy. What a dating app hack. And then I met my wife, and to this day, she says the only reason we're married is because of your dog.
That's funny. That's funny. I mean, it's real.
Yeah, it
Yeah, I have this great picture of me with an ex-girlfriend's dog, and I'm like, shoot, I should use that in my marketing. I should put it on my landing pages.
I
I think I'm going to after this.
yeah, it works. I don't have any statistical data, but it anecdotally it works.
Everyone says have a picture of you and a dog.
But no, going back to the J,
Jay
yeah,
Blanton
yep.
Plumbing, yeah.
Um, one of the things in that video that you sent me was that like he just blanketed the area with trucks and like routes and like all of his like actual marketing, direct mail. I don't know if he had billboards or not, but he had like, but it was he was doing that with like traditional marketing, and like it was like, yeah, it increased brand searches, and brand searches increases your likelihood to rank for your other like service keywords that you're trying to target. Um, and like I see this like craze, and I'm like, and I know that, and I understand that, like that does work, but like that's marketing. That's been around for 100 years. And like that's been like Edward Bernays and Claude C. Hopkins, like they did all of this stuff in the 20s. Like why are we just now coming all full circle to this and being like mind blown about it? Like obviously, like if if that's the mimicking market demand that I was telling you about in my notes, was like they're creating demand in their market, and Google is trying to emulate and follow that. Like that's like case in point about how Google's algorithm works.
100%. Yeah, 1,000%. And actually, that's what I was going to say earlier when I'm like, I'll get to this in a moment. It was about geo, which is like the geo things that work are SEO reputation management. Like have great reviews, have them everywhere, or put out press releases that announce your wins and use keywords strategically. That is SEO, and that is traditional marketing, and that influences AI. It is,
I
yeah,
think there's like so two things on AI is one, I think people need to stop looking at the rel tags, like not stop caring about them, like just get your links. I don't care if it's no follow, I don't care if it's sponsored, I don't care if it's whatever, just get them. Like okay, let's pretend Google doesn't give any weight to them at all, zero zilch, which is probably not true. um let's pretend they don't. It's still traffic, like it's still potential traffic from that source to your, like why not? The second thing with AI is I can't remember who just did the study recently, but I don't know if it's from Ahrefs or somebody. I saw it on LinkedIn.
It's Glenn Alsop. I bet you it's the best of list,
It was the all of
best X for
yeah,
Y,
it was
self
yeah, it
promotional.
was all of the AI recommend, was the AI recommendations gave like, oh, it was, no, it was a Wikipedia thing. It was
Oh,
because like people say Wikipedia is like no follow, or Google doesn't care about Wikipedia links as much as you know you'd think, but like ChatGPT really cares about Wikipedia links. And I was like, okay, so what, AI is SEO in 2005 then? Like it's just, it's all full circle, and we're gonna get to a point too where like the AI algorithm just closely resembles the things that Google cares about and doesn't care about, because it's just coming full circle all over again.
yeah. Yeah. Dude, I wanted your take on this. I put up I mean, I know what you're going to say, but I just want to hear you say it. I made a podcast. It was like maybe 2 weeks ago. I said, stop putting all your URLs directly off the root domain. Please use subfolders. And it was I when I made that episode, I'm like, this is a boring topic. It's so SEO 101 and no one is going to care. It performed above average and I got a lot of hate in the
Wait,
comments. I'm like, what is going on here?
explain that. I'm like, I gotta wrap my head around this. I'm dumb. So say it again. So say it again.
I said stop putting all of your URLs directly off the root domain. So like you have like um, I don't know, edwardsturm.com / product one, edwardsturm.com / product two, Edwards, like but you don't use any subfolders. You use
Yeah.
no
Okay.
subfolders. And people were like, actually, no, that's like it's a good not to use
Because
subfolders.
what their methodology, what their reasoning is, like, well, the keyword is closer to the front of the domain, and they're like, that way, like Google crawls it first, and I'm like, really? Like, or is that, or like, but you have good, it's structure, and it's like Google is not just crawling your one page, or like crawling the page and context to the other pages, and like how that information is broken down. Like in theory, right? This is like, if I was Google, this is probably what I would do. This is probably how I would contextualize pages. And if you're not putting them in like a clearly definable like hierarchy, then it's just a mess. It's just a website slop.
And it's easier to do analytics with subfolders. Actually, I have something interesting though. The mattress affiliate who came on the show a few days ago, he's like, yeah, so we have like all these different subfolders, and they did one for like FAQs, and he's like, he's like, I'm glad that we had that subfolder structure, because if like one topic doesn't perform well, it's isolated to a subfolder and it doesn't affect the rest of the site.
Yeah, there's like a tons and tons of arguments for subfolders, and I'm a huge fan of them too. Like,
Yeah, me
and like
too.
every time I want to like differentiate content, I'm like, and you think like subfolder or subdomain, because it's like a different, like a totally different context or something like that. Like maybe it's like, do I like if I
No, subfolder.
yeah, if I
Yeah.
want to do like courses for SEO, but for like lawn care clients, but make them free and like ungated or anything. It's like, well, like you could do like courses.evergrowmarketing.com, and like you can have its own ecosystem, and it's organized and structured, but it's like, but that's like all, that's a ton of content. Like make it a subfolder and like isolate that within the actual domain so that content is available. Um, but like yeah, even if it's not for like you said, like you saw like marginally better results, like, or like it wasn't like groundbreaking, right? That's what you said with when you did the study,
With what was
when
it?
you said that you did subfolders versus pulling everything off of like the root domain. Like,
Subfolders are insanely better
okay, I was like,
than putting everything off the root domain.
I don't know. I just assumed like it would be, but like even if it didn't, like even if it was like, even if it made no impact, but like no negative impact, right? Like even if it didn't, it would still be way more organized and just way more clear, and like even I think even the user would have a better experience.
It's better for everything. What the reason I was so shocked is we were talking about it, and the reason I was so shocked is that like I got a lot of blowback in the comments about people saying it's not better. I'm like, what are you saying?
Did they say why?
I don't even remember. It was all to me. I just like I read through it and I'm like, this is nonsense, and I stopped thinking about it and moved on to the next piece of content
Do
that
you
I have
ever
to
feel
make for it.
like all the comments and hate you get on some of these hot takes, which shouldn't be hot takes at all? Do you ever feel like that might invalidate like your authority at all?
Um, s- I feel like sometimes it could be perceived to do it, but like it could be perceived from some people to make me look less credible. But I also am like, well, people are smart. At the same time, I'm like, people are dumb. I don't know. Like I kind of don't worry about it because I put out so much content. I can't be loved by everybody. Actually, it was funny. Literally just yesterday, one like a huge SEO influencer, I was like so shocked, said something really mean on LinkedIn. And I'm not going to say who this person was, but this person, the people came to defend me so fast and made this person look so bad. And
This is on LinkedIn.
yeah, yeah, this is on LinkedIn. And I mean, so at this point, I'm just like, I put out, I try to, at the end of the day, I try to help people and give people the best information possible. And people can do with that what they want. And I'm just going to keep on putting out as much as I can because the best way to get the best way to like get the results that you want with content is to have a lot of it. Now with SEO, a little bit different, but a lot of great SEO content is better than a little great SEO content. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but I think like I've kind of come to the conclusion because like I get a lot of hate for like some of my takes just because they're not technical. But I like if I ever need to like feel better about being like, well, some people might not think I'm credible. I mean, like, look, I think the only thing that matters when I do SEO for clients is the money in my Stripe account. And so like if I'm producing results and my clients are seeing that, because we don't lock people into contract, we're month to month with like SEO retainers is crazy, because like it takes time, but like if you're actually showing results month after month after month, and then year over year, and you're sharing those with the client, and they're still sticking with you because the leads are translating to actual money in their account, then like that speaks for itself. And if people want to fixate on this technical stuff and charge clients $2,000 a month for it, even though it's not really moving the needle, not saying all technical stuff, but the stuff that we're talking about, um, then fine, do that. I guess that's less competition for me then. Like if you want to think like the stuff that I have to say is just like, frou-frou stuff that doesn't really move like significant needles or anything like that, then I guess I'm happy with that.
Yeah. I wanna ask you what are some of the biggest misconceptions that you see when new potential clients approach you? And they're like, we want to do SEO, and then they might say some things to you, and you're like, I hear this all the time. Like people keep saying this BS to me.
Yeah. There's three things. Geo, um, location pages, and then spinning up tons and tons and tons of blog posts with AI. So like, one of the biggest one is like, oh, we need more content. We need a lot of content fast. And it's like, you're a local service business. You don't. Trust me. Like, you just need to provide the solution for the things people are looking for. Um, and I literally had a client that was like, we're onboarding them, and he was like, hey, this wasn't an ask. He said, use something like phrase.io and spin up 30 plus blog posts. And like, he's like, I'll help you think of the topics. And I was like, first of all,
Huh.
you don't need to help me think of the topics. Like, we're a niche agency. I'll help you think of the topics. And like for SEO. Then I was like, second, uh, I'm not going to do that. And I said, you can do that. You can post them on your own website. And I even said, like, when they get de-indexed, I will use your site as a case study in search engine land. And then and like I literally said this in an email, and he didn't. He was like, okay, we're not going to do that then. I was like, great, like win for me.
Wow.
And then the other thing that I mentioned was doorway pages or location pages. So a lot of them are like, yeah, like we need to get like they always say, like they come to me and they're like, we need to get these location pages, like a page for each one of these. And then I have to send them my 2022 search engine land article about why we shouldn't do that. And then I'll be like, but then I offer them the project page solution. I'm like, but we have this. It just requires work on your end, which is taking pictures of your products or your projects. And then the other one is geo. Like it's always asked, like, hey, what are you guys doing to show up in like AI? Like, what's the AI geo strategy? I'm like, well, good news. Like, it's the thing you're already paying for because it's SEO. So
When you say that, do people give you a hard time with that?
no, because I have the authority in search engine land. I like that's what's the nice thing about it. And like, I hate being the guy that's like, I was published in search engine land. What have you done? But it's like, but also it works because like if I have competitors that are saying things, but they have nothing to actually back them up and no real publication or real like podcast interviews, and they're not actually in the SEO community, they're just selling the services. It's really hard for our clients to discredit us via like another competitor. Um, and I provide like really long explanations. Like I spend time educating the clients on like why that's not a good idea. Hey, I wrote something on this a little bit ago. This is Google's policy on doorway pages. This is my tweet to John Mueller about exactly what you're asking about, and him saying, no, that's not a good idea. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily get pushback. I do the pushing back, and then I stop the conversation with education.
But I love it. Like a lot of SEOs are struggling with silly geo requests, and they're like, "How do I deal with this?" But here's the solution: is get published in search engine
Yeah, I
land.
mean, just talk about it a little bit. I talked to I wanted to bring this up because I thought it was good. But like Tim Solo from Ahrefs was on our podcast, and he talked about one of the biggest thing I think SEO struggle with is just understanding fundamental business, and it's like everybody wants to focus on traffic and like and keywords that have high search volume, and it's like if you just understand the business of what you're doing SEO for, what you're marketing for, like you're gonna win 9 times out of 10. Just understand the business. What does the client want to rank for? What do they want sales for? That's it. And like Tim Solo had like a what they do at Ahrefs is really cool, and like I've started using it for our clients and even ourselves. And it's business potential keywords. So like he talks about like tofu, mofu, bofu, top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, and like SEOs will kind of might categorize those into those three categories. But if you think of keywords as like business potential 3, that's like bottom of funnel. That's like lawn care company near me. High intent, right? High intent for the services your client wants to target. That's somebody wanting to buy from you. And then you have business potential keyword 2, which is um like like how to fix this weed problem in my lawn, right? Like you don't know if they're looking for a company or if they're looking to DIY solutions, but your client offers this service and you can provide that as like a blog post or something, or like a subcategory on like a weed control page where it's like, yeah, we help with this. Business potential 1 is like kind of more top of funnel, which is like you can mention you might be able to mention your service in it, but it's kind of like best DIY or best fertilizers for lawn care. That is the intent behind that is somebody's looking for a product and not a service. And if your company doesn't offer a product, you can still provide the advice. But you're speaking from an authoritative position. Business potential like keyword 0 is like something that's like totally like it's like slightly related. It might be a question about irrigation, which is like slightly related to lawn care, which you might be able to publish something about it, but it's not worth it. So if you look at Ahrefs, they always publish stuff that's business potential keyword 3, 2, or 1. There's never anything that's 0. If you look at companies like Buffer or Hootsuite, they do 0 all the time. They do like Facebook ad image size, and like everybody goes there, right, just to figure out like what the best image is, but they're never gonna like use the service off of that. And so that's kind of how we think of things. So if SEOs are like, what is the business potential of this keyword, and they start at 3 and then work their way backwards, I think like SEOs will see so much more success.
Yeah, that's literally this like most of the strategy in my SEO course, compact keywords, is go after those keywords. Also because they're usually less competitive because they have less search volume.
Yeah,
Like at the bottom of the funnel, there's less search volume and a lot of dumb marketers want to go after the sexy keywords with the high volume,
That's
which
and
are at the top of the
that's the
funnel.
distraction. Like the distraction is like, oh, but it's low volume. Like it's not gonna be really impactful. I'm like, yeah, but it's like it's gonna be like a 10% conversion rate. Like you get 100, there's only 100 queries for that. So that's 10 leads for your clients a month.
It
Like,
could be more,
yeah,
and it could be like really like huge purchase orders too. Like
yeah.
it could be somebody ordering an entire product for like thousands of people, but there's like, you know, one search a month, but you're the only page targeting this keyword. What happens with you? Like,
We like I think and I think a lot of SEO struggle with like the word intent and what that means. Because it's like every keyword has an intent, and like a service based keyword that like looks like if somebody searches this, like lawn care services, like you would think that like that has high intent. I would call that kind of like medium intent, because I don't know why are they searching for that? Are they just doing research on lawn care companies for like a project or something? Like they don't have the action in there. But if you type in like lawn care services near me, there's higher intent in that now. And the intent specifies, oh, they want them near them. That implies that they're looking for actual services and not just like looking to like research what some lawn care services are. Because like as a boutique agency that like that doesn't niche, I might need to like educate myself on what some of the lawn care services are. So I might just type in lawn care services and see what shows up. And um, the intent plays a big role, and we notice this in like some of our pest control clients. When it's like pest control is wild because it's like so many people are looking for DIY solutions without saying it. So they might say like pest control. Like pest control is kind of low intent to me because
me
I would
too.
search for pest control to find what Home Depot has to offer. Um, Pest control company, that's a high intent. That's the one that I want my to show up for. And then like you have to start thinking about what the other things people are searching for. So like we found um like ant killer, like the word killer in our pest control camp like PPC campaigns. That was a low intent keyword that we ended up negating because once we did that, like our click through rate shot up like super high, and it was just because like Google wasn't even showing us that people were searching this. But as soon as we did that, like we stopped spending money on a ton of unrelated keywords. And we're doing a case study on that. I told my partner Cody, I was like, we have to talk about this. And so I don't have all the data for it, but um, yeah, there's just like just understand intent, understand business potential, and I think people will be so much more successful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, it's also, you don't need as many words per page. It's just the best in so many ways.
I mean,
Because
yeah,
you could put up one of these pages, it could be 200 words, 300 words, 400 words. That's it. You don't need to
yeah,
do the skyscraper technique.
yeah, and it used to, and to the credit, like it used to be very similar to that, right? Because it used to be like the more content you have, the better. But like algorithms update over time, and when I mean used to be, I mean like 20 years ago, right?
Okay.
But like for some reason these practices are still getting circulated today. But now it's like, wow, you're like people go to Evergo marketing site and they're like, wow, your content on your pages are really thin. And I'm like, okay, like let me know when I stop ranking for them, because like it's all it counts is like is is when Google ranks your site and someone leaves their search engine by clicking on one of their links and then doesn't come back with the same query, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Google, in their head, they provided the searcher with the answer they needed quickly.
Exactly. That's what we were talking about. That's what do searchers want. They don't want to go through long pages. They don't want to
I was
dig through
so
fluff.
happy when those updates came out and they really impacted like the recipe websites. Because like every time I looked for a recipe, I'd be like, oh my gosh, and I just like scroll constantly just to get to the recipe. I was so happy when that happened because all the recipe sites still aren't fixed yet. But every now and then I get to a recipe site that actually has like good SEO and like right at the top the recipe. I'm like, this is great. I love this.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Or like even just like seeing more Reddit in the results. People are gonna hate me for saying this. I trust Reddit a lot more than I do like a random niche blog, which is gonna bury the answer, which is gonna like sell things that I'm not looking for. I just want what I'm looking for and to be on my way.
Yeah, there's Reddit's a whole thing because now it's getting spammed by bots.
No, now it's
Yeah,
spammed.
well,
It bots and SEOs and
I had I think I had David implement this auto mod on his subreddit on r slash SEO. In r slash agency, I use an auto mod called the CQS filter. So like it manages or recommend or it looks out for how you behave across all of Reddit, and it goes from like lowest to low to mid to high to highest. And if an RCQS filter, if you're not high or highest, you can't make a post. And so like even if you have good community subreddit karma from like commenting on posts, but you spam other subs, you cannot post in our sub because your CQS is too
that's
low.
cool. That's cool. Do you think Reddit is going to be the SEO powerhouse that it is now in 2026?
Yeah, I don't see it going. I don't see it dropping. I think eventually it'll probably start to lose value. Everything does, right? Everything is like cyclical. Um, I still think it'll be pretty powerful. Probably not as much as it was earlier this year, but it'll still be a good strategy.
That was one of the things that stuck with me. I've had Barry Schwartz on the show now a few times, and he's like these parasite plays come and go. It was Yahoo Answers, it was WikiHow, it was Quora, it's Reddit now. Something else might be
I think
next.
I think the I think the deal. Well, Google with over 90% market share. I think the deal between Reddit and Google. Like I haven't followed up on it, but I'm pretty sure that was too expensive for them to just kill next year. Like there's no way.
Yeah, yeah, that makes
So
sense. Do you do anything with Reddit for your clients?
not yet. We talked about exploring Reddit ads, which is kind of unique for like the local industry. But there is geo-targeting, and we've talked to Reddit reps about it. And like we're always really into exploring ads on like platforms you want to think about, like even partnering with platforms like Angie or Yelp or things like that. Because everyone after Google they go like, oh, meta ads, like that's the next step. But it's like it's always super low quality leads. So it's like where can we find these like pockets that are like really interesting? And we wanted to try Reddit ads. Um, we're just not ready to dive into it. As far as Reddit SEO goes, no, we don't do anything with that. I'm too scared, man. Like Reddit's vicious. Like I don't want to like post something in like a local subreddit from one of our clients and then like their brand just get tarnished because people on Reddit are vicious.
Interesting. I'm curious, why Reddit ads? Have you been hearing some good things about running ads on Reddit?
Yeah, so their average, so like in the lawn care and landscaping, well, one, I have heard like decent things from a few people, not very many, like one or two, just enough to pique curiosity. The other thing is like we got the kind of like the Reddit demographics from our Reddit rep on like who uses Reddit, and like the average income on it was like $80,000 or higher. I'm like, that's crazy high for like a social media platform to be average.
Yeah.
And so that actually align like the Reddit demographic actually aligns really well with the primary demographic of landscaping clients. And
Wow.
so I'm like, well, if the demographic aligns really well, then like maybe there is some potential there.
What have you, I mean, you haven't really gone deep into it, but have you thought about like what type of ads you would run? What it would look like?
No, I've only not for like local. I mean, for some reason I feel like it would like I immediately go to like just general lawn care. Like it's just a service base. And just to test it, like, yeah, we're probably gonna have to test some ads that get some hate and get some downvotes. But I have thought about running ads for like our podcast on Reddit. Um and I would probably be a little bit more like snarky or edgy on it. Because I've seen my business partner Cody, he's run Reddit ads for something. I can't remember what it was, but he tried it and he did something that was kind of like, oh, it wasn't snarky, but it was a little bit edgy. And he actually got a comment on it in Reddit that said the comment was literally, "Wow, a Reddit ad I don't hate." And I'm like, that's a huge win. Like that's like run that to the ground. And but like yeah, we haven't really thought a ton about it, but yeah, you have to. I definitely think you have to be clever about the content.
How many podcast episodes have you done?
186 just came out yesterday. 186.
That's what's
It's
up.
weekly though. So
Wow.
actually, if you do the math, you and I started our podcast at the same time.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you're just
Yeah.
daily.
Which is a lot.
Yeah, I
Are
don't envy that, but I am like I applaud that daily content.
I appreciate it. A lot of people applaud it, and I will tell you, it is not easy.
I know I would imagine weekly
It
content is
is,
hard enough.
man, weekly content to me sounds like a dream.
It's not. Well, it might be too late to make a switch. I was gonna say it's not too late to make. I was like,
No, I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe I'll make it to episode 1000, and then I will take a break. But at the same time, the truth is I just need to build out my team better. That's like one of the things that I'm working on, which is like expanding the team in the right ways, having the right, like I've had to fire a bunch of people, hiring like the right editors, learning what to look out for in an
how big
editor.
is your
Like I've
how big
had,
is your team for YouTube and podcast stuff?
it's not that big. And because I've been firing people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it and so like actually right now I just have one primary editor for the
Mm-hmm.
podcast. I'm wondering maybe I need two editors for the podcast or three editors for the podcast. And then like it's also like what am I looking, because I only started getting editors. I only started getting an editor this year. Up and because up until up until 2025, the episode like it was really easy to do. I literally just recorded, I put it into Descript. I wasn't really using many graphics. And so like I could make an episode in like 30 minutes. It was like really, really easy. And now we have like tons of graphics, and I'm always getting guests. And
Yeah,
so
I do all the editing on our podcast. So I edit in DaVinci Resolve Studio. I do like the opening sequence teasers, like all of the graphics on it. Had to teach it myself. An hour long episode probably takes me 3 hours to edit. And so it's like if doing any more content than than weekly is tough. But like so we've always recorded our video, but we only did audio because back then that's all I had time to do. So
yeah,
YouTube for us is catching up. We're like on episode 75 on YouTube. And then starting at like episode 130, I just started making the videos like fully edited and ready to publish on YouTube. But I've got to like close that.
it does so much better.
Yeah.
It does so much better when you actually like. Who would I? I put up an article on my site, like things you might be interested in it. It's like it's the things that drove the needle the most for getting visibility with the show with this podcast. And one of the things was like, who would have thought like actually having an like putting in the work to have an engaging episode is going to make a big difference. Like it's something that was great about when I got an editor was like now I had more time to actually find good topics
Yeah,
for
and think
episodes. That
about them
also,
and plan them. Like, yeah, when
yeah, and plan
our
them.
early days, like some of it was just like riffing, and like people liked that.
That was
Yeah,
mine. That was mine.
yeah.
That
Well,
was
like
mine. And
people liked it because it was like me and Cody, and like we like a whole thing about our podcast was like we're we want to talk to agency owners and people as if we met them in a bar. Like this isn't like a super professional setting. This isn't like, we have this like canned list of questions we're going to ask you and we want you to answer them. It's like, no, the first like 20, 30 minutes of the podcast is literally us talking about nothing. It's just like breaking down the professional barrier that people get when they show up on the podcast. And then it's like, okay, well, like now it's actually like dive into the topic. But like, I was going to say, if you wanted to switch to weekly, you still can. Because what I was doing with YouTube when I had time, and I'm gonna jump back into it after the new year, which is you cut the episode, like you film like an hour or 2 hour long episode, and then that's your Friday episode or however frequently you post, and then just like throw it into like Opus, create like longer clips and subsections, and then schedule those out daily. And it's like, and your editor can do this. It's just one episode, and then the clips come out just daily.
I I I don't want to talk about Opus. I can tell you after the show, but I don't use tools that I don't know if Opus still just completely like automatic.
Yeah, their editing tools have gotten better. Still not a huge fan. I'd rather create.
Do you get a lot of engagement on like Instagram or TikTok?
Depends on the context. On TikTok and YouTube, I'll get most engagement. On Instagram, I really won't get that much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm constantly going viral on Instagram. Like I've had like multiple videos just this week that have gotten like several 100,000 views talking about SEO. And so
Wild.
I've tried these tools, these like, because I have like so much content. I'm like, man, it'd be great if I could just like take my podcast and put it into an AI tool, and
Yeah.
it's going to clip it, and I'm going to put it on Instagram. But it's the same thing with like the podcast. When I put more work into the podcast, it does better. And it's like when I put, it's not always the case with Instagram. There's like plenty of times where I spend 10 minutes making a video and that will go like hyper viral. But if I take like, actually, I've been more consistent with success this past week because I've changed my approach with making content on IG and TikTok, which is I have a spreadsheet. I have hooks that have done well. I have topics that have done well, and then I mix and match or I change up variations on the topics. And I've gotten like, I started doing that. My first video doing that got 1 million views on Instagram. And like and that's me putting in more time and more thought and more effort.
Yeah,
And it was the same with this
ours
show.
is the same too. Like we have the same spreadsheet, and like the number one topic, how to get clients. It's like
Oh yeah?
we
Okay, but so your focus is on for
agencies, yeah.
agencies.
And if like Cody has a note in his phone right now about like a mini series that we want to do in the podcast, which is just basically like how to get clients with LinkedIn, how to get clients with SEO, how to get client with Facebook, and it's like just doing that over and over again because like they'll just kill it, and it's just like, but like it's a topic I hate doing because it's like I said earlier in the podcast, getting clients is the easiest problem. It's the easiest hard problem your agency is going to have to solve, and but I like my perfect dream scenario. I have basically two people, two like people in the production room. So in Zencaster, you can, or Riverside or whatever, you can usually have like people that aren't in the recording that are off to the side, and like leaving notes and things like that. First person in there would be the editor. The editor would then make notes of good clips to cut out from this, like good contextual clips, and then like timestamps. The other person would be the producer. They'd be the person who would be like, hey, good time for an ad, like mention this, or like, hey, move on from this topic because it's dragging out. And based on like how the retention rate does in certain episodes, like we need to keep this at an hour and 20 minutes. Just and then those would be like the only two people like that I dream about having.
I dream about having those people too. And it's just a matter of scaling up the team. I have no doubt that like I have no doubt that my team will get there. It's just like, and right now like I can like it's not like a problem for the hurdle is just finding the right people and knowing how to screen. That's like, so actually I had on Trigvi, I'm forgetting his last name, but Trigvi Raffin, and I had him on like a few weeks ago. He's been in SEO for a long time, and we did a great episode together. But afterwards, we spent 90 minutes just jamming about like team and how to hire and things to look out for and people that you need. And I got so much, and it was things that I never would have suspected. He's like, yeah, a team member that I have is it literally it's like this woman in the Philippines, and her only job is to reach out to other people on the team to say like, how are you doing, to be like, oh, it's your birthday today, like happy birthday, or you've been working at the company now for like 3 months, here's like a 3 month anniversary message. And like,
That's
and
valuable though.
that has made it's made like, and so she's in the Philippines, not paid a lot of money. It's made the biggest difference in like the success of his team. And it's things like that
Yeah, we're
I'm working on. And
we're
yeah.
we're trying to be better about it too. Because like all of our team has been with us for like 3-4 years. Like we have super low employee churn for like our agency. And we're doing a Christmas party on the 23rd, just a remote virtual one. We'll play games like Jackbox and stuff like that. And we did that when someone was leaving a while back who returned a year and a half later. But we're doing that and like just like engaging with the team and doing those fun things. Like we did a photo shoot with the team. We flew everybody into Iowa, where we're headquartered, and then did like a fun team bond photo shoot. And then I'm trying this. This is offshoot. I'm trying this with our agency Discord of doing like anybody who is an agency owner that is either a solopreneur or remote or whatever. It's like come into the Discord on the 22nd. We're having a Christmas party. It's again video chat, audio chat, hangout, text channels, whatever. But like, I'm trying to be better about like engaging with your team, whether that's like just your peers or
Well,
whatever.
so that's, I mean, I don't want to, actually, I'm not going to, yeah, he might not appreciate me saying this. Well, what I will say is if you have the right people in place, you don't even really need to do that.
Yeah.
Like if you,
I see. I know.
and that's what was so that's like, I'm super surprised to have like heard that from people, which is that because some people just want to build and do great marketing. I'm that type of person. I want to build cool stuff, do great marketing, and not have to worry about management, and just know that my team is going to get it done. And it was interesting to hear. It's been interesting to hear about ways to actually build a team that can do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's different personality styles. I think like you have people that will absolutely crush it, and like they don't want to own their own business. And like I think if you find people that are, and this is just my own perception, but if you find people that just want to build, and they just want to do that stuff, like they might end up just doing it on their own because they can. They don't need that support. But like you have people who want to do impactful work, but also want to feel a sense of belonging as well. In that,
that's what I'm looking for. So I'll tell you, like my first editor for this show, he got so inspired by my podcast, and he's like, I'm gonna do my own. See ya. Thanks for the knowledge.
How do I inspire these people? Like our agency podcast has been really great because like it really earns like no money at all, and people are like, oh, but it's like,
why do you? I'm curious. Why do you do it? Like, because you have a podcast. I want to like just verbalize this for a second. You have a podcast that helps agencies get more clients, but you are an agency that caters specifically to people, to lawn care businesses and pest control businesses or something like that. And so that seems like very different.
Yeah, and everyone is always like, "What's your motive? Like, when are you gonna launch your course?" Like, probably
courses are great.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably crush it with a course.
I've been told that, and I've had people ask me to create a course. But like, here's the reality: our agency does about $500,000, and like that's not big by any means. I'm certain, like by other, like maybe solopreneurs, like
in total revenue.
Gross profit which would it be? Yeah, gross profit.
Okay.
Total revenue, we take an ad spend on our side, so like that's just super inflated, so I don't use that that metric. But yeah, so we're not like huge. So like part of it is like the authority perspective. Like, do I have even the authority to tell you how you should operate an agency? Maybe it's like directly towards like freelancers or something. But the other thing is we started the podcast because I got so sick and tired of seeing like fake gurus online, like fake SMMA gurus and agency gurus, like just spouting off the really dumb stuff that like just doesn't like that's bad practices, bad business, bad SEO, bad social media, the appointment setters, the cold callers, like that stuff. And it started to bleed into our clients telling us about this and having bad experiences with people like that. And the biggest issue was a lack of trust when they reached out to us. Because like 100% of our clients come from organic, like just from SEO. They just search for lawn care marketing agency and they find us and are like, okay, I've had like really bad experiences with these people. And I'm like, with marketing agencies. And I'm like, so like immediately it's always like an uphill battle now, because like now it's just like this industry that has just churned out garbage. And so I was like, I want to do this because I want to provide like education on what owning a real agency is like, and also kind of document our own growth and our own journey. And but it was also kind of fun. Cody and I were in a business meeting, just him and I, and the stuff we were talking about with the business. I'm like, this is cool. I bet people would want to hear like this stuff, like private meetings and just discussions that we have. And so I was like, let's just do a podcast. And he goes, look, I'll join you, but I'm not doing anything with the podcast because I don't have the capacity for it. I was like, I don't care. I'll do it. Just let me do it. And so we did it. And within, I think like 20 episodes, like 20 weeks of doing it, like we started getting listeners reaching out and just being like, this is so like such great info. I love like hearing from like, and like newer people who are like smaller than us, really look forward to the advice. Whereas people who are the same size or bigger than us, they've told us, and it's like it feels like agency therapy to them, like on their commute to work or whatever. They just like tune it on and be like, it's like almost having coworkers or like business partners that you're kind of in the room with, and that's the whole point. And then it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and we're like, whoa, like we could do this for fun and make some money with it with like sponsors, and but like we never want to like sell something to our audience. We just want to provide value, and like that means like making money. The business model would then be um sponsorships primarily, and being like, yeah, like the value to the audience is free, and the primary is sponsorships. And I'm sure like at a certain point we'll come out with like maybe there's like exclusive paid member content or something. I don't know, but like courses is not in the future as of now.
Mm. I love having a course. So what happened with me was I started doing this podcast because I'm just like, I was making videos on TikTok. I was loving it. And I'm like, I have so many cool stories to share that are too long to put on TikTok. And I'm like, I love like the My First Million podcast, and I love I don't remember what else was I listening to at the time. There was a podcast. Oh, I like Founders, and I'm like, yeah, I want to talk and ramble and share my stories. I have so many cool stories. I want to do that. And I just started like finding, after doing so many episodes, like people wanted to hear me talk about marketing more. Okay, so I'll talk about marketing more. People want to hear me talk about search engine optimization more. Let me double down on SEO. People are really liking me doubling down on SEO. Let me double down on SEO more. And then people were like, can you make, like, you keep talking about your bottom of funnel SEO strategy, like, can you make a course? And I had people ask me for that. I had people pay me like a lot of money for one-on-one consulting for that. I'm like, people really want that. And the thing is, you can't make like it's you can't make content about the same thing all the time. And like a lot of the content that does really well, it might not fall into your strategy, but it's just something interesting to report on. Like I'm not covering, no offense to you, I'm not covering like EXIF data in my SEO
Yeah.
course, but it makes for a good episode of the
Mm-hmm.
podcast. And so I make my course with exactly my strategy, where it's like you don't have to go and look around to all of these different episodes to find the answers. All the best practices, exactly what to do outlined is right there. And I spent, for every 20 minutes of the course, it's a 13 and a half hour course, I spent 7 hours for every 20 minutes. And it's all there, outlined there. And like the validation is like the results that it gets, the testimonials that it gets, and all of that stuff. But the course came after the podcast.
Yeah.
Like the
The
I just started the podcast for fun, and then like people, my perspective on content is like, do what is fun for you. You will develop a community, and then the community will tell you what to sell.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening to us right now. It's like it's weird because like there's already so many like agency SMMA course gurus out there that like, to be in all honesty, I don't think I'm emotionally ready to defend myself. Like when people are all like, "Oh, just another course guru," you know? And so like I'm like,
Oh, I don't care. Like some people, I see some people like that actually on on like Instagram or TikTok. And one, those people, instead of selling a course, they are selling a community where arguably you might get less value. You might get less value because it's less thought out, it's less outlined, it's more money because you're paying recurring money.
yeah.
And they are still the community today is what a course was like 10 years ago. And these same people will go and like and be like, courses are scammy, and then they will sell a community. And
Yeah,
personally,
I
I don't want a community. I have a community, but I don't want like a paid members
so
community.
you said like what my kind of philosophy was, which was like, what if I do create a course, or if Cody and I do create a course, what it would be is all of the content is gonna already be available for free on YouTube. Like you can find it if you look for it, but it's not going to be organized and curated for you. It's not going to have deliverables. It's not going to have a course summary at the end, or like an educational summary. If you want to pay for the course, you can, and it's going to be curated and organized. There'll be deliverables, there'll be action items for you, there'll be all this stuff to like constantly curate that. And I would do it affordably. So like it wouldn't be like $2,000 a month, or $2,000 or whatever. I would be like, I don't know, $200. But and like the methodology or the reasoning behind that is because it's like you can learn Spanish for free, 100% for free. You can Duolingo is a free app. Download it, learn it, dedicate time to it, whatever. Watch ads to keep playing, you know? Or you can pay a college $2,000 to $5,000 to learn Spanish from a very curated professional in a quicker amount of time and maybe learn more details about it. Like, if the options to learn for free and to pay to learn are available to everybody already without internet marketing gurus. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to also provide both options.
The thing is, there's just so much noise out there.
Yeah, I know.
The beauty about having a course, even versus a community, because communities come with a lot of noise too. Because you have like all these people in the community who are like, I got this crazy result by spamming AI blogs on my website. And like, whereas like a course is like, this is what works. Like you can have a strategy that is timeless. Like that's what compact keywords is. There you go.
Yeah,
And don't get distracted by the noise.
Someone was asking me too about like the course content, because I do every now and then I'll live stream myself just working on the agency on my YouTube channel, and somebody was in the chat asking about like why I don't have a course, and I was like, because like I'm self-aware enough to know that everything is situational, everything is industry-based, everything is is completely different. So if I have a course and I was like, here's how to get clients for your agency, like it's gonna be my way, and it might not work as well for your agency.
Jake Hundley, this was a lot of fun.
This was fun. This is a longer one. I enjoyed it.
I didn't expect for it to be so long. I'm like, yeah, Jake's going to come on. We're going to talk about like EXIF data and some cool SEO stuff and marketing stuff.
Well,
and
the real important thing is hopefully the listeners found entertainment and value out of it.
I hope so too.
Yeah, because that's always what I care about. Is just like, I don't know, man. I care about what people think, and people come on like, this guy sucked. I'll be like, that hurt my feelings.
You know, it's really nuanced, because you can have an episode where you try to give a lot of value, but you don't vibe with the guests, so it doesn't do well. And then you have an episode where you try to give value, but then you just get distracted vibing with the guest, and because you were vibing with the guest, it does really well.
Yeah, I know exactly. Well, also, what's weird too is some of our worst overall performing episodes we've received the best comments about. And it's just because like the audience that like it worked well with really worked well with them. And so it's like, oh, our average retention rate on our podcast is 70%. So 70% of the audience stays until the very end of every episode. And there's an episode that in particular that has like a 32% retention rate, and it's just like so far below, and it's like so badly performing. And it's like 2 hours and 20 minutes. And that's the episode that we have received the most compliments about.
Really?
Yeah, it's just wild. It's just like,
what was it about?
It was these two brand development this brand development agency named Lumo Design Studios out of Australia. Imogen and Lucy are sisters. They own the agency, and we were asking them about how they created the brand agency, like what's that look like from a retention model? What's that look like from an acquisition model? And like the vast majority of our audience just didn't care, because I think the vast majority of our audience is performance marketing. And so it's like branding, but the people who were in branding listen to the episode and they're like, this episode slapped so hard. And we're like, interesting. Like, I mean, we had fun. The episode was 2 hours and 20 minutes. So, but yeah, that's what it was about.
That's why you make a lot of content. You put out something for everybody.
Yeah, it was a feel good thing. Like it's the messages that make you keep wanting to do things, not just the analytics and the metrics.
Do you get a lot of crazy messages?
Lately we've been receiving some like massive hate, like calling us racial slurs and things like that. I'm not even kidding.
What?
This is coming from Reddit though. So like, what do you expect? So like, a podcast is all free information. Like we don't have courses, we don't have anything to sell you. And someone will ask a question like in Reddit, and I'll be like, hey, we actually did a podcast episode directly on this, and there's like really good information. I can't give you good advice, but the guest I had on can give you good advice if you listen to them. And then like, we'll get a form fill like in the middle of the night, and it'll just be like totally blasting us. But like Cody and I think it's like the funniest thing in the world sometimes, because what we want to do is we want to run Reddit ads with those bad reviews, and just being like, why don't you take a stab at listening to the worst agency podcast you've ever heard in your life?
That's so good.
But like we received like a super racist one like recently, and I'm like, man, I wish they were more PG about it. It's just so we could use it in an
That's
ad.
you could. I mean, I don't know. Could you take out the bad words or hide the bad words? Or
This one would be hard. Like it would
okay,
be like, what are they?
that's
Be like, you know, like
crazy.
those funny movies where like someone goes on like a cussing spree and it's just like a long beep. That's basically what this was. Like it is funny to us when we get those, but like I much rather enjoy getting the ones that are like more harshly criticized, but like you know, not, you know, rated R.
Yeah,
But like
th-
I love when those hit my inbox, because I'm like, yeah, we can use those ads now. But then on Spotify,
that's smart.
Spotify's the worst though, because Spotify there's no name or user profile tied to the review, so people can just go in
Mm,
and leave 1-star review, and I'm like, ah, that sucks. Like that's worse than actually getting a message from somebody.
yeah, that's really bad. But you just keep on putting out great content, and eventually the good outweighs the bad.
Yeah, right. Like part of it's like, you know, if you're not getting any hate, you're not doing something right, you know.
That's what it is. That is so true. And I mean, like, I've had multiple conversations with other like people who have large followings on social media about this. It's like a lot of a lot of their content that does best will have like an overwhelming amount of like negative people in the
Very
comments.
polarizing. Like you'll have like the smallest crowd beats the loudest drum. So it's like when you have those people that really hate what you're saying, like
Yeah, that's what it
it'll
is.
sound very loud to you.
It does sound very loud.
Yeah, because I mean you pay attention to it, but like
I forget who I had somebody on recently, and we were both talking about this, where it's like we noticed we get more hung up on the bad things that people say versus like we could have like 20 wins in a day, but like we get like one bad thing and then it'll like ruin the entire day.
I don't know, like I'm sure if you think hard enough about it, you can like everybody can understand the psychology about it. But like I'm just gonna say I don't understand why that is. Like we just focus on the negatives, and yeah, but like you're right, I'll get like tons and tons of messages, but it's like the minute I have one criticism, I change how we do things. Like one criticism that we got is we always have these cold opens that are like 10 minutes long. Sometimes they're 20 if we're vibing. And I got a criticism that was like, I don't want to hear any about this. This is stupid. And like they said that, and I'm like, oh, man. So since then, since that episode, and it was early on, it was like episode 30 something. At the top of every single episode, if there's a cold open longer than 2 minutes, I will put when to skip it.
Oh,
And so
and has that made a big
I
difference
haven't gotten
or
any
no?
more complaints.
But have you seen like performance increase because of that?
No. I mean, yeah,
Yo,
no.
so let me tell you, Jake. Let me tell you. I think you'll find this interesting. I have a lot of people complain that I'm always cutting off guests. The reason that I'm always cutting off guests is because when I am most in the zone with a guest, I'm fully paying attention to what they are saying, and then I have all these different questions, and it's very energizing. And I will get a lot of angry comments, people saying, "Let the guest finish. Let him or her finish, please." But you know what? The episodes that do the best are the ones where I am cutting off the guest because we are vibing.
I I know what you mean, because I do this all the time, and I recognize I do it when I do it. And but I have such bad ADD that if I let the guest finish, which could be 5 minutes from now, because they could be a talkative guest, I will forget what I was going to say completely. And some people might argue, well, that's the point. Like, you should have good, responsive conversation. I'd be like, no, I know as a content producer, the thing that I have to say after they said this thing will produce a better content track. Like, and it will steer the direction in a better direction for the audience that I know I have. And so um I will do, and like we just had an episode where a guy, he talked for like 16 minutes straight, and I was like, stop talking. I
Wow.
like
Wow.
I was like, I wanted to give you the floor, but I gotta interject here. And like he provided a ton of value, but I'm like, we gotta start. He started like getting into the subjects that I wanted to tackle in like minute 50, but we were in minute 16,
Mm.
and I'm like, oh, hold on. I'm like, we gotta break this up in more digestible chunks.
The one thing that I like about guests who talk for a long time is it's like it feels like it's less work for me. I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
just like,
I
but at the same time, that's not really good. Like if I'm just like zoning out, that's not good content.
dialogue. I think dialogue does the best in like promos. Like if you just have, yeah, you
Dialogue.
just have monologue. Like
Oh, you mean like
yeah,
banter?
yeah, you gotta have like like what works best for me is like when someone says a claim, and then I'll like, because if you look at our opening, like there's like a 2 minute opening teaser at the beginning of every one of it. It's like a movie trailer almost, and like someone will say something, and I might like throw in something that I said like way later in the episode. They'd be like, "What? You're insane!" And like it'll like put it like right there. But then like those do better than like just the person saying the thing and then no reaction to it. So it's like, so I try to make the reactions real time.
So wait, you're saying teasers? Wait, so you're doing teasers at the beginning of your episodes?
Yeah.
And how actually this is so like we've experimented with this and I'm still like to us it seems like jury is out if a teaser does better or not.
It
It's something that I think about a lot.
analytically, it's still out for us too.
Mhm.
We started doing it because of YouTube when we started getting on YouTube, and actually the teasers performed better. It was marginally better. It wasn't like crazy amounts. Yeah,
Marginally.
it wasn't like crazy amounts. Um, what I like about the teasers though is it gives us a 2 minute segment we can promote prior to the episode coming out. And that's easily digestible, and then we just throw it at the beginning of it too, and then we have heard from listeners that they enjoy the teasers, and it gives them kind of a sense of what the episode is about, because the title might be
How long are your teasers?
like I aim for a minute and a half. um
Oh,
I
wow.
aim
How long does it take to and you edit that yourself?
Yeah, so
How long does it take?
I aim for a minute and a half, but sometimes like Darren Shaw just came out yesterday, his episode, and his was 2 minutes and 40 seconds because it was we
Oh
covered a
yeah,
lot.
because he's awesome.
He is great.
Yeah.
The teasers probably take the longest to
He
edit.
was actually he was DMing me about you
I know.
because he came on this show. Yeah, he came on this show a few weeks ago. He's coming back, I think, in a week or two.
Yeah,
And
there's like this whole circle between me, you, and Darren of like just talking about, because it was literally like he was on my podcast the day after he announced his podcast, talking about the EXIF data report, which he learned from you being on your
yeah,
podcast.
for me, I sent it to
Yeah.
him.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, they take the longest time to edit. So they're like, I'd probably say like almost 2 hours to edit just because like what I'll do is I'll listen to the full episode. I'll cut out segments from like, this sounds cool and interesting for the beginning. And then I'll drag all those segments to the beginning of the timeline. And I'll have like 10 minutes to work with. And then I've got to start cutting out sections and create like a cohesive story that's a minute and a half to 2.5 minutes. And that's like the decision making process there is probably the hardest part.
So let's talk about 80/20 things that will get results versus won't. Since we both kind of agree that teasers make a marginal difference but take a lot of time to edit.
Yeah.
What I would rather do for me, like something something that I want to do next year is I want to have like an army of clippers. And I've hired clippers to make clips of my podcast, which comes out every day, where there is so much content. And they are trying a bunch of different angles across their own channels that they are developing. And like you see that with streamers like I Show Speed,
Mhm.
where like where they have like, it almost seems like they're fan accounts, but I'm sure that these are like people who are
Right.
paid to make clips. And then you watch these clips and you're like, man, I want to go and see what this is from. I want to go see the rest of this. You see that with actually a lot of the Joe Rogan clips, for example. Man, like Joe or Lex Friedman clips. Like Lex Friedman, one of his like most popular episodes was dude, it's the same thing as a sale where people need multiple touch points before they can buy something. Even with a podcast, people will need multiple touch points before they go and try to watch it or listen to it. So like Lex Friedman had on this ancient Rome historian who actually got on my show after he went on Lex. And they had so many great clips. It was like a long episode, but they had so many great clips. And I watched a bunch of these clips and I'm like, I just have to go and listen to the full episode. And then I went and listened to the full episode. And after that, I binged on more Lex Friedman episodes. And it's like I could spend money. I can spend time. I can spend time putting together like a great teaser that's going to make a marginal difference, or finding and onboarding and training a clipper who is going to like develop like, and that's what I
And
want to
that
do. Like one of the things that I want to do next
I
year.
want to do that as well. And like that was part of my dream too, is having that editor in the room and just like not just clipper, but like actually like, oh yeah, this will be good. Or but like I mean,
Yeah. Oh, that's a good
so
idea, because
yeah, because like
you have someone who's
he
watching
can
in
do
there
it
taking
live,
notes as
and he knows
yeah.
and he knows context too. When he because he could be like he could get like way later and be like, whoa, this would be really good to clip next to something we said really earlier, and then like that
Yeah.
that's what my dream would be. But the opening teaser for me, like that is definitely the 80% labor for 20%. It's probably 80% for like 1%, honestly.
That's what I'm
But here's the
saying.
thing though, is like there are certain things where you should take pride in. And like this
Sure.
is something that I pride myself in, is like how engaging can I make the opening teaser? Can I make this sound like a banger and then promote that? Like and like I know it probably doesn't get the analytical results, like it doesn't get like what I want it to do, but like when I make that, I feel good about it. And I'll keep doing that for as long as I feel good about it.
Well, that's what's important, because you need to be the ultimate way to win is to have a long-term asset. And the way to have a long-term asset is
And
to enjoy doing
in
it, investing in
fact,
it.
my biggest engagement on one of those opening teaser, we had an episode called "Everybody's Lying About AI," and
That's great.
and
That's a great title.
it basically the episode was about how there's all these like AI gurus out there and all these people like being like LinkedIn influencers about like I used AI to scale my agency to,
Dude, I can't stand
and
it.
like no they didn't, like you're lying about it
No,
because
they didn't.
like you used it to scrape for leads and then send automated emails, and then all it was a lead gen thing, and then you did like a sales email flow and the AI produced the content. But like what we're trying to do in our agency is use AI to, and automations, not AI, but automations with the assistance of AI to like help operationally, not with like scaled content production, not with like scaled outreach, not with all these people are actually doing it with. And the LinkedIn influencers are talking about like using AI operationally and like reducing team sizes by like dozens. You know, it's like you're not. I don't believe anybody's actually doing that. And because we asked about it while we were researching this for our agency, and just absolutely crickets. Like no one can actually give us real examples. So we had this.
I do wonder about that, because I hear a lot of people. I do hear a lot of people making these claims. I had actually someone come on my show who says that, so he has 3 people. He's doing $1 million ARR with 3 people. That's his entire team. He's heavily reliant on AI. And he's like, I believe that we can get to $10 million ARR per employee. So he's like, with 3 people, he's like, I think we can get to $30 million, heavily relying on AI. And
He should
I'm not going to talk about
once
this.
he gets to 2 million and 4 years in business, he should apply to Inc. 5000, and that publicity will just blow up for him.
To 2 million in 4 years in
Because
business.
yeah, well, and
Let me tell you, the remarkable thing is they've only been like that now. That was like, I guess he came on like 2 months ago. So they started the company 8 months ago.
oh, so like yeah, the ultimate litmus test for me on like how like without people showing me like P&Ls and like proving it is like, oh well, are you in the Inc. 5000 list? Because like they will audit your actual finances, and you can actually
Oh.
prove that you
Mm.
grew to that revenue level. And so like within the agency subreddit, we have like a flare system where it's like you can submit your P&Ls and your certificate of good standing, and you can get a user flare from the mods that says like, yes, you are a verified 7-figure agency. because
Oh,
because
wow.
people are like they would give advice that's just bad or unsubstantiated, and they don't actually have the expertise to prove that. And so now we implemented this, and it's just like a volunteer thing. Like if you want the flare, you can have it, but you got to submit your P&Ls, and we got to look at it. But if they just like, I don't want to do that, here's my Inc. 5000 listing. I'm like, great, there you go, 7 figures. You got it, because
Okay.
they'll do more research than me for sure. But we posted this episode, the promo, and it's still on our page, on my LinkedIn page, but it got absolutely blasted by this one guy, and now I live rent free in his brain everywhere. Like he follows me, he like on Reddit, he's like posting crap about me. On LinkedIn, he's following like posts. I posted a comment on Zeb Evans, the founder of ClickUp, because Zeb said the exact same thing that I did, just in a different way. And then like every other SEO that I'm seeing, or every other person is like saying the same thing that we said in the title of that episode. They're like, no one's talking about AI correctly. But because my promo triggered him, it was the number one engaged promo that I've posted, and now it's just great that like now I want to produce more content like that, but I'm still sensitive. So
Yeah, it's you know, actually the thing that I was gonna say, which is like I do wonder how many people who are getting like because you see so many people, they're claiming they're doing like insane with AI, but maybe they're not saying it because they don't want to reveal it. Like they don't want to reveal the secret. They don't need to. They don't need to prove anything to anybody. At the same time, I just personally am not a fan of spam. I
yeah,
don't
I
want to
mean,
spam people. And AI generated messages or like unedited pages or unedited social posts, to me that is spam.
like
I will block those people or hide those people. Like that is spam.
I do the same thing, and we called out like I was like, if you use AI to scrape email lists and then also to send those DMs as well or send those emails, that is spam. Like if that's your cold outreach strategy and it produces results for you, that's good for you. But let's not pretend it's not spam. And this the reason why I triggered this guy and another guy actually in the comments is like I looked at their LinkedIn profiles and like that's exactly what they did. That's what they sold. So they felt like it was in my head, they probably felt like it was a personal attack on them, which I didn't even know they did that until they commented on the post. I'm like, it wasn't a personal attack at all, but like spam is spam. Like we don't need to like hide what it is. Like if that's your business model and you're proud of it, okay.
But the thing is, spam doesn't scale. I don't believe that spam scales. You know what scales? Brand equity.
Yeah.
Like really, brand equity scales a lot. It compounds and it scales.
It's
Paul Graham wrote like half like or maybe like an entire essay on like how brand equity scales, called How to Do Great Work. He has this section on how you do something every day and you build a brand every day. It literally compounds to hockey stick growth.
it's basic psychology though. It's like I don't remember what it's the actual thing is or the actual principle is, but it's like humans are hardwired for short-term gains. So it's like,
Yeah,
and
it's
and
crazy.
like if you can the immediate as immediate as you cut out short-term gains from your life, the more success you see in the long run. But like,
Dude, Jake, I gotta tell you, I had this literally because you're an outlet for this thought that I had yesterday that I wanted to turn into like an episode or a post, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna do that, but you're an outlet for it, and I can
all
tell
right,
you, I was thinking about how the people with the most time are the ones who are most obsessed with the short-term wins, whereas like it's like who is most obsessed with the short-term wins? Oftentimes it's younger people. It's like
yeah,
people who are in their like late teens or early 20s, and it's like you have the time to invest in a crazy brand. By the time you are 25 years old or 24 years old, you can have such a valuable, insane, unimaginable brand, and you spend these years chasing these stupid shortcuts. Whereas then they might get like 10 years older, and then they might be like, you know what, those shortcuts were dumb. Like I'm just going to invest in a brand, and then then they actually get it. But it's like the people with the most time are also the people trying to save time the most in the dumbest ways.
it's like I have a couple like reasonings behind this, and it's kind of like the reason why we started the podcast, and it's because young people are impressionable and they want to keep up with the Joneses more than the actual like 30, 40, 50 year olds do. So like they got it like my dad actually illustrated this concept to me when I was growing up, like when I was 20, 21, and he was like, when you move out, you want our nice TV, you want the car, you want the house, like you want all this because you're used to that. Because I have built this for over 30 years, and like you want that immediately when you're younger. You want the success that I've built because you're just used to that. And so these kids, like they get out of college or they get into college or out of high school, and they see like that lifestyle, so they do whatever they can to chase that immediately because they don't want to lose that. And like Robert Cialdini and Influence.
Love him. Love him.
Yep. I mean, he talks about this is that people are more willing to give up something or trade something if it means not losing something they already have versus gaining something they don't have. So like if they're not willing to lose what they had coming out of like their parents' house or coming out of a nicer lifestyle, then they're more willing to trade something to get that quicker, and to prevent that loss. And so I think they turn to these like courses and like these kind of scammy like short-term gain type things because they're just trying to not lose what they had. Or the other side of that is it's just social media influence. Like they see their peer, their same age driving a Lambo, they racked up on their dad's credit card and like for the rental or whatever. And like it's all fake. And as soon as you get to like 30, 35 and you actually become like more adult, you're like, that was all stupid. It's all fake. And then hopefully by then you start recognizing that it's the long-term plays that actually pay off. And, 50 years old doesn't seem so bad.
Why can't you make a course that actually shows people how to do like good long-term investments?
Because it's not sexy. It's not going to sell. Like
you don't, but here's the thing. People, a lot of people, first of all, paradoxically, when you stop chasing the short-term gains is when you start getting the short-term gains.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
I've noticed that.
So actually you can make the claim that by not going after the short-term gains, you will get the short-term gains. That's like
you will. So like the claim I would make though is like by not going after the short-term gains, you will probably get the short-term gains because like I very like realistic. Yeah, and so it's like it's tough because
I don't. So when I sell my course, by the way, like I actually don't like I don't make promises. You can get sued for that.
Yeah.
What I do is I say, watch the video testimonials on my landing page because it's just all of these real people with real stories showing their results, saying their results. Like some people literally show their computer screens. That's good.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you don't have to say it like because I mean, like, look, we've been talking now for a good amount of time, and I'm like, this guy knows what's up. This guy knows how to do SEO.
Yeah, and it's just like, I could see me creating the course. Here's the thing: like, I get worried about two things. One is I want to put all this effort into it, and it's not going to sell. Number two is, and it's not going to sell because it's not sexy because I'm not going to make the claims that the fake gurus are making that the FTC is ignoring because they're small.
I'm wait. Let me tell you what I did on that. By the way. While I was making the course, I validated interest in it by literally selling it while it was being made. And that, so I only took in 10 people. This was over a year ago. I only took in 10 people. I sold it for the full price. Only took in 10 people. They bought the course as it was being made. I kept giving them the content. They kept saying this is great. And then to reward them for being early customers, I also gave them like calls at the end of that when the course was out. I'm like, you can ask me anything now.
That's good.
And so I validated the interest.
I think the other thing is just also like being terrified of being lumped into like the fake guru space. Which I'm sure
who cares?
Dude,
that's what we're talking. You've literally been talking about that. Who cares about the negative voices?
I know. The third thing is that like everything I've built with the podcast and everything I've built with Potential of Course, that was built by the agency that I'm spending a lot of time running right now. Like I will never put the agency down or on the back burner. So I want to make sure like if I create a course that it has the attention that it deserves and the value.
Well, that is a really fair point.
Without sacrificing the effort and the research and development with stuff I'm working on.
I'm gonna plug my own course now because when I made it like I thought it was gonna be this thing that might take like 2 weeks to make. And like as I started making it, I'm like, well, if I'm gonna say this, I need to explain this. If I'm gonna explain this, I need to explain this. And it kept on snowballing, and it took a year to make. Was it like? And my friends were like, put out some like crap course, just get it out, start selling. And I'm like, that's not who I am. And I spent a year making it.
Yep.
And and like to your point, like to make something really good can take
We did that with our
time.
documentation, our agency. So like everything, because we're so niche and productized that like my mom could log in and do our SEO and paid ads management because it's so systematized and so productized. Our documentation is so ironclad. But like um, when we started doing like setting up Google Ads for our clients, our landscaping clients, super easy. Like that documentation was pretty straightforward. This is how you do it. You have a template account, use Google. Uh, what's that? What's that tool? Like Ad Editor, Google Ads Editor, and import the template. Um, but when we started documenting the monthly management aspect of Google Ads, we're like, everything is so conditional. Like if this happens, well, you might want to try this lever or this lever, and like you have to start explaining philosophy in the documentation and like a little bit of education.
See, I do that in my
Yeah,
course. I do that. I explain the nuances.
and I remember like Cody was primarily working on this because he's the ads guy in our agency, and I was like, he goes, yeah, we started doing this, and I realized that we're gonna need like 10 times the documentation for what we thought was gonna need, and we ended up completing it, and it was great. But like, that's exactly what's gonna happen with the course. I know it. I'm gonna like, hey, here's how to here's how to pick a niche like for your agency. What? Then I'm like, oh, why should you pick a niche? Why shouldn't you pick a niche? Because sometimes it's not always relevant. Like match the services to
Yeah.
your niche. It's just the nonstop web of content and information you can create.
Well, it's like you got to focus on something. I made the course when I didn't think it was going to take a year to make the course. And since you know that it might take you a long time to make something that you feel comfortable with selling, then you're probably right that it's not worth focusing on it.
Yeah. Not worth focusing on it,
because I also think like, I mean, I don't need to tell you, but like, I bet your TAM is so crazy with just your agency. I bet your TAM is so insane.
with my clients, like, the TAM for my clients, like landscaping and lawn care.
With just focusing on your niche, you're doing performance marketing for landscaping and lawn care companies. Yeah, and I bet the TAM for that is like so insane that you don't need to really worry about anything.
Yeah.
And there's so many different industries that you can branch into off
there's
of that.
like, I mean, we start with landscaping and lawn care, which is the green industry, and then you translate to the outdoor living industry, which is hardscapes, pressure washing, things like that. And then you have pest control, like indoor pest control, because what happens is like those clients end up selling like one-off services for like those things in the other industries, and it gets you involved and educated in those services, and then are like, hey, I have a friend who actually has like a fully rounded pest control business. And that's how like, yeah, that branches off. So like it gets now for Evergrow, like for our actual agency, we absolutely will create courses. That is on the docket to create courses for these businesses to teach them how to market their businesses the same way that we do it for them, without needing to hire an agency, and that will be paid.
But I thought you didn't like courses.
For like the podcast, like for other agency on, like I don't want to be lumped into the guru space of like the agency guru space. For providing so like there's just this for our agency, like I'm perfectly happy creating like $100 course on how to optimize your Google business profile for landscapers, like for home service businesses.
Okay.
Like that's fine. But then as soon as I start creating courses on like how to develop a successful agency, and I'm like, well, I better have the authority, I better do it right, I better like you spend a lot of time thinking about this and not be lumped into the other like SMMA gurus, the big names that run the ads on TikTok.
I don't know. I think I don't really like thinking about it like that. I think like make whatever you want to make and sell like make what you want to make, and if you believe that it provides outstanding value, like why not have people pay for it? Who cares what other people think of you?
Yeah,
man, like people, like a lot of like we've been talking about this now for the last like 2.5 hours. Like people will say the nastiest things about us online. My skin is so thick now.
I'm prepared though, because in your comments, I have Edward Sturm to back me up.
I will back you up, man. You know what is up. No, but like that's honestly like the only way to like succeed, like to succeed with doing like a personal brand
Yeah.
is to develop a thick skin. That's also what I love about SEO. It's like you can literally like you don't have to have any personal brand. You can sit behind a computer in the dark in some
Yeah. It's great. Eat
faraway
Cheetos and
place,
drink
talk to
Mountain Dew.
nobody. But you can do like you can like
I know.
um
I think we're in an age where like having a personal brand is becoming more and more apparent and like in success, and we've talked about this on our podcast a lot because we took a stance against personal brands in the past. At least I did personally, and now I'm in an age of being like, no, I think personal brands are extremely important.
I for me I do it because it's fun.
Mhm.
I genuinely I'm an extrovert. I used to think that I was an introvert. Then I thought I was like in the middle. Now I realize that I'm an extrovert. That's how I'm able to have like a 2.5 hour conversation with you because like I'm getting energy from this conversation. So one, I am an extrovert. Two, I like editing. I like making videos. I like putting out stuff. I like inspiring people. I like building a brand. It feels like I'm building with Legos. As I put out each video, each piece of content, I'm building something. So I like that I'm building content that is searchable because I have like long descriptions for this podcast and like these are always appearing in search. Same with my short form videos. So I'm building in that sense. I get to hear from people. I get to meet cool people. I get to talk to people I never would have gotten to talk to, and like that for me is like it's fun. Now, would I say that it's necessary? No, absolutely not. I like to do it,
It's
but I don't. It's like it's not
it is
necessary.
fun for me. Like I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy engaging with people, and it does give me energy. Cody's the opposite. He's the introvert. If
Oh,
we have two podcasts in a day, he'd be like, I'm gonna go to bed. He's like I can't do this. Um, and I like even if the podcast never earns us a salary or never earns us income, like the fact that I've been able to talk, like have hour long, 2 hour long, I had a 3 hour long conversation with David Hunter from Local Falcon, like Tim Solo, Morty Oberstein, you, Joy Hawkins, Darren Shaw. Like I've talked to all of them on the podcast. Mike McAllowitz, author of The Profit First, for those of you who heard that, like he's been on our podcast.
I've had all these people on my
Oh,
show
yeah.
too, and before the show, before the podcast, like I wasn't I wasn't talking to those
Yeah, as a
people. I was
nobody.
just doing an SEO for
And
my own
you know
company.
what's great is
For my own companies.
we're working like directly with call tracking metrics, CallRail's competitor, on like their voice AI solution. And like the only reason like I was in a meeting like almost like it was like in a boardroom meeting with like their VP of product, and like I think the only reason I was doing that is because I had authority with the podcast, despite the podcast not actually making any money. So like the fact that this has led me into doorways of like
Yeah.
meeting and talking to people and being involved in like some of these like software companies that I never thought I would have had been able to talk to, like these executives. Um and like actually take me seriously, and like that's a really cool feeling to have.
It's you know what I'm not going to say that I wasn't in the room with these people before, but it was like you had to prove yourself to these people
Yeah.
because like I've done crazy things, but it's like still like you don't have when you are like somewhat of a personality online, you have a reputation that follows you around. So it just makes everything easier. Also, people will go out of their way to help me, which is amazing. I am hyper grateful for. It is also really fun. And like,
It's
yeah,
really interesting. Like when like some of these people I've had on my show, like just like email me and be like, "Hey, I just got a quick question." I'm like, "This is so cool." Like I feel like so like I don't know. Like it's just it's a good feeling to know, and like also to recognize that
yeah,
like these people are also just human. Like and
yeah,
like actually meeting some of them and talking to them are like they also have no idea what they're doing, and like that's that's great. Like as far as like building their personal brand or what the next step in their like career is, like they're also like everybody else is also just kind of like growing and like falling into like their personal brand, and recognizing that, oh, like I do have influence, and it is a challenging thing sometimes.
yeah. Sometimes sometimes it can get annoying, like when you get like hate from people who are just like because I do wonder. I'll tell you a story that I think about sometimes, and I'm not at this level yet, but I could be soon. It's Tim Ferriss, I think it was like the first house that he bought, and he didn't buy it through a shell company. He just bought this house, and already at the time he was like very well known, and he would have people like find where he lived, and they would come and be like, Tim, I found where you live. I just want to say hello. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, thank you. But he had like this one guy who kept showing up at the house. It was like every week or something, or even more, and the guy just wasn't leaving. And Tim was like, hey man, like this is great. Send me an email. Like the guy just wasn't getting the message, and Tim Ferriss had to sell the house which he had moved into, and now he only buys homes through shell companies. And I'm not there yet, but like, man, actually I was in the gym the other day, and I was doing a workout, and like someone said hello to me, and it was great. The person like watched me on Instagram, and it was amazing, and I felt so good.
It's cool.
But also I wanted to keep, like, I was in a huge rush, and like I wanted to keep working out.
Yeah, I mean, that's like I look forward to that day. Like I haven't experienced that, and sometimes it feels kind of narcissistic a little bit. Like, but I feel like everybody would like some extent of that.
I
You know?
love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I love it. But also at the same time, because this is really what it is. I genuinely love it, but it's because I put out a podcast every single day, and I put out a social video every single day. Like sometimes actually this last week, I had maybe 5 out of 7 days in the last week where I worked until 3 a.m. Where I worked until 3 a.m. So I am like constantly, it is a constant grind, and I have to be like really, like someone who I have like some expensive one-on-one consulting through my site. Somebody bought it, and he was messaging me on WhatsApp, and he's like, hey, like, can I introduce you to this like billionaire in the country that I'm in? I
Absolutely.
think you guys would have like, what?
Absolutely.
No, actually, I said no. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, he can go and use like the paid form on my site, but like, I really need to protect my time because I don't have any time. Like, and that's the thing. If I'm like, again, please say hello to me. Please talk to me. Please send me messages. I love it. I love hearing from people, but it is like a constant balance, because like I am not, my number one priority when I wake up, I need to get out a podcast on that day. That is my number one thing to do every day, is get out the podcast. Number two is get out a social video, which can be very easy. I can do that in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But the podcast will take time. And yeah, so it's like that, and everything else is, and the results that I get is tremendous. Investing in that and not getting distracted by conversations and by brainstorming is tremendous. So I've just had to be like, some people are probably like listening and rolling their eyes and being like, Edward's an idiot. But like, I mean, like, look what investing in day over day growth has done for
Well,
me.
and a lot of it's like, do you find, because like I started doing consulting because people really wanted it, and I was like, look, I'll answer DMs for free. Like you pop into the Discord, you pop into r/agency, you pop into whatever, you find me on Facebook, you message me a DM, I will do that for free on my own time when I have free time. So if you're
Right.
cool with not getting a response for 2 weeks, great. But like if you want to put something on my calendar, like you gotta pay for that. And so like I'm at the point where like
Yes.
my calendar is not super full, so I'm like, look, $100 an hour, I'll talk to you. Like that's what you're doing. But then like some people are like, I know people who are like, no, I got $1,000 an hour on my calendar, and I'm like, do you feel like you provide enough value like to justify that? And he's like, I value my time more than I do talking to them. So he's like, I like if
But that's also like maybe he's giving that value, but that's also fair. Like Naval Ravikant literally talks about this. Like he's gone on multiple podcasts and talked about this. He's like, or I think he even had this like viral thread on Twitter back when it was Twitter, and he's like, what is your hourly rate? There you go. Like what, like, because it's like, I know what I can do. Like, let's say I have a 30-minute brainstorming session with somebody and it doesn't really get me anything. I know what I can do with 30 minutes, and it is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
It's so
like if I'm on the phone, if I'm on the call with somebody in an hour, like that's like half an episode. I could edit,
not just that. It's
but like,
also it also like takes energy.
yeah,
Like to like like the beginning of our conversation, the first hour of our conversation was a lot harder than the previous 90 minutes of the conversation that we have had,
yeah.
because we understand each other. I know more about you. I know like things that you're into, things that you're not into.
Mhm.
And it's just it's flowing. It's easy. We can keep like I can keep going. You can keep going. But the beginning is a lot harder. And
Mhm.
it's the same thing. It's like when you have a call with a random person, it's not the same thing as the 30 minutes at the tail end of a 3-hour conversation. It's the beginning of the conversation. So it's more effort and it's distracting, and you got to drop what you're doing and shift your mindset.
Yeah, and like you get to account, you get your calendar on your calendar, and it's like 15 minutes before that conversation starts, and you're like I can't start anything impactful between this 15 minutes
No,
and that.
I didn't start anything before the 30 minutes for our call.
Yeah,
I
like
was
what I mean,
I was just
scroll
chilling.
through TikTok and find something you can comment on. That's about it. Like, I mean,
Actually was staying away from screens because I wanted to be able to like sit in this chair and just like
you're
stare
like,
at the
I have to
screen.
talk to this
And
nerd for like half an hour.
I mean, I thought this would be a short call. I thought this would be like a short episode. I'm like, yeah, like what are we going to talk about? And I'm just like I'm having fun.
Yeah,
Keep the
it's.
party
I mean,
going.
this is the same thing we do on our podcast too. We just try to like we like we'll talk about the actual topic. We'll find the actual topic in like our discovery call, but then we're like, okay, but we'll get to that. But we want to learn more about you. Tell us your story. And so
Oh, I'm not even doing discovery calls with guests. I'll like look into some things that they say. Like it's usually like kind of easy. I can see the type of things that they're putting up on like social media, and it's like geo is where it's at. SEO is dead. Throw away these things. Oh, I like you're not a great fit for that. I don't even say that. I just actually just put it in spam.
well, I
Actually, what I do with a lot of people is I'm like, hey, please fill out my guest form. So they'll be like, great, they fill out the guest form, and then I never respond to them.
we we get pounded with guest interviews all the time, and like there are certain people that we seek out, and we're like, hey, we want you to be on the guest, like Darren Shaw. We want you to be on a show, like Darren Shaw. Um, then there are like people who want to be on our podcast that we've never even heard of, and so we've started charging for guests. But we do, yeah.
Really?
But what we do is like it's not just like you can pay just to be on. Like you also have to be vetted too. So it's like we also need to make sure that you can provide value to our audience before like we even say yes to even charging you for this. Because the audience comes first. But at the same time, if you weren't a guest on our show, would that have changed anything? And if the answer is no, then you can pay to access the audience.
I don't charge. For me, it's a privilege to have to get someone on with a good story to tell, because I think it's really hard to find the right people. And I'm just like, please come on. Like I don't like come on. What I do is sometimes I am like aggressive with filling up empty time
But
slots
here's the thing,
where
you're
it's
daily
like,
though. You're
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm weekly. So if I have 5 people,
You have to be really
if I
selective. You have to be
if
really
I have 5
selective.
people that
Yeah.
want to be on the show, that's over a month of scheduled content. And like
Right,
the
right.
the the hard part too is the episodes where it's just me and Cody talking with each other and not a guest actually do better than guest episodes. So like if we have 5 guests scheduled up, that's over a month of none of our best episodes of just me and him. So it's like we have to put those in there as well. So yeah, we have to be very selective on who's on the show. So we have to seek out the people we want. And then if people come onto the show and they can provide value, and I'm like, look, the podcast makes no money at all. If I can get it to a point where we can break even and just have an editor publish our stuff, I'll be ecstatic. And so like that's where kind of like charging for guests kind of came into play, um and that. But yeah, we still vet the guests though. You can't just throw money our way and we'll be like, yeah, we'll interview you. Some people though
Yeah.
are clearly fake gurus and they want to be on the podcast. I will let them I will let them if they pay the fee. But everybody signs an
Really?
yeah, but everybody signs an agreement that says um, anything and everything you say can and may be published without access to without being able to edit. Then I'll say I give them a warning that we will look into your business and your social media, and we will look into reviews and we will look into all of this. And if we find anything potentially disparaging, it will come up on the podcast.
How often do you actually like
So
do you bring up these things on the show and ruin people's days?
so it's never happened yet because like
Okay.
we just started implementing this pay for guest thing, and we just started implementing like actually considering bringing these people on because we just got insurance to make sure that when we do
Oh
say something
wow.
like on the podcast, they can't come back and sue us for libel or defamation or
Oh
something. Well, they
wow.
can, but then we have insurance. So we wanted to make sure that that was all in place first.
That's gonna be crazy. I just for me, I will if someone's so actually I had people on who I thought were fake gurus, and I pressed them really hard at the beginning of the interview because in my mind I'm like, these people are fake gurus. I'm not going to be able to use this, but let me just like really press them to like learn more. As I pressed them, because I thought I wasn't going to use it, as I pressed them, I found out that they were legit, and so I ended up using the entire show. I've also had people who came on, like it's very rare, and I've done so many of these, but I've had people who've come on where I'm like, this person isn't offering any value. I can't use this at all, and I will not use the
We've had that
episode. And
one
then it's like,
time. Um,
I've had that. I've had that one, I think 3 times.
yeah,
I've
three
had that
times
happen
in
three
over
times.
900 episodes, right?
Yeah,
So,
which is crazy.
yeah, yeah, we will, but we haven't had this issue yet. I've offered it to people, like because they'll like slide in our email inbox, and I've offered it to people with crickets. Like they won't show
Oh,
up.
well, actually, I do have this. Actually, I do have this in my form. The same thing. I have something. It's a checkbox that says you accept that I will ask probing questions into what you share to better understand its legitimacy. I have that checkbox on my like get on my podcast
Yeah,
form.
I tell people I will bring up bad things. So like Wix came onto the podcast. Like I was like, I
Oh
said you can come
shoot.
on the podcast, but you have to address the bad SEO stuff from like 2015.
Oh.
And so Kobe Gamliel, head of Wix Studio, came on and he addressed it. And actually, we're so impressed with Wix that we're switching our podcast website to Wix Studio, and we're moving our like new like in near future, all new clients of our landscaping clients will be on Wix Studio sites.
I've heard that Wix has really cleaned up.
They are they're doing so well. They have like a fully customizable built-in IDE with AI help like code. You can customize literally anything. SEO is great. Like their team is so responsive as well. But like the reason why we're switching to Wix Studio isn't an SEO related thing. It's more of like we want to focus on marketing and stop duct taping solutions together in WordPress. And so like it's just like a better all-in-one environment. But then but he came in. I was like, you have to address it. So we had a whole segment on it on that. And then Tim Solo, I invited him on the podcast because it was when Hrefs switched to like their credit based billing, and like he was getting so much hate for that. And I was like, come on the podcast, let's talk about it.
Cool. All right, I'm tired.
I got it.
I like and I appreciate you for being on the show for so long and for doing this.
Well, it's
This
Saturday,
was fun.
so it's I had nothing else going on.
Well, there you go.
I don't have a daily
Thank you,
podcast.
Jake. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's fun. I really I wouldn't have done this for as long as I did if I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah,
It's
likewise.
yeah, so thank you, Jake. Where should everybody go and consume your stuff?
Well, if you just type in the Agency Growth Podcast, we're all over the internet. We have a new website domain coming, but I'm not allowed to give that out to you because it's not 100% done yet. But the actual website is everbrospodcast.com. That's the old one. It will get redirected. So, yeah, just search for that. You can find me on all the socials, just Jake Hundley, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
And all of your links will be in the description for this episode. You know what? I'm really happy because this is episode 900 of the
Whoa! I
show.
hit
And
a centennial one.
yeah, you did. And I was like, I hope 900 is going to be like special. And actually, this is my longest show yet.
Oh, I
So
hit
it
2
was like,
records. That's awesome.
yeah, I don't know how we're going to top this for 1,000.
Well, you could break this up into multiple. We did this.
Hell no. No, dude, this is coming out tomorrow.
All right.
You don't understand. This is literally coming out tomorrow.
All right.
Every day.
We did-
and then I have another guest who's coming on tomorrow as well. Like,
that's wild, man.
yeah.
We did this. We had a 3-hour episode with one guest, and then we're like, well, let's just try it. Let's do that. And then we did when David Hunter came on. His was 3 hours too, but we split it into 2 episodes. We just,
my episode with my first episode with David Quaid was 2 hours, and I'm like, oh man, I hope this isn't too long. It's my most viewed, most watched guest episode.
let's hope this one is.
And that would, yeah. This one, we'll see. But regardless, I enjoyed it. So thank you again.
Yeah, I did too. This is a good time.
All right. So for everybody watching and listening, if you're watched on YouTube, if you listened on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.